Temperatures hovering around 50 degrees, a sheet of clouds covering the sky, and rain in the forecast in Ann Arbor, Michigan at Ray Fisher Stadium at the Wilpon Complex. Welcome in, everybody. So glad to have you along. Zach Linfield here with Adam Bressler, getting set for game one of a three-game series between Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan, they did not play a midweek game this week, but are riding high after a sweep of in-state rival Michigan State, Adam.
Yeah, they go from, it's very fitting, from in-state rival to out-of-state rival Ohio State. Both Michigan State and Ohio State have been struggling a little bit in the Big Ten. You look at the 12th ranked in the Big Ten, Michigan State, and then now Ohio State just one place above them in the standings with only 2 wins. So this is a chance for Michigan to continue their momentum and keep pushing ahead. Right now they're technically tied for 4th in the Big Ten, but have a chance to leapfrog both Iowa and Maryland with a successful series.
Let's get into the starting lineups for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Batting first is the the shortstop, number 2, Marcus Ernst. Batting second, number 4, the first baseman, Zach DiZenzo. Batting third, number 28, the left fielder, Trey Lipsy. Batting fourth, the center fielder, number 7, Cade Kern. Batting fifth and returning from injury today, the third baseman, number 3, Colton Bauer. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 12, Brent Totis. Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 6, Drew Reckart. Batting eighth, Mitchell Oakley, the right fielder, he wears 24. And batting ninth, the catcher, number 29, Archer Brookman. They face off against the 6'2", 190-pound sophomore southpaw from Mississauga, Ontario, Connor O'Halloran. On the season, Connor 3.02 ERA, a 4-2 record, starting in his 11th game. Almost 51 innings pitched, 42 hits, 17 earned runs, a beautiful walk-to-strikeout ratio, and the first pitch is a breaking ball that hovers in for a strike on the inside part of the plate as Marcus Ernst gets it set to lead off for Ohio State. He swings and misses at a breaking ball outside. This one looked like the curveball from O'Halloran, and I'll tell you what, he had everything working for him last week, but here's the 0-2. Oh, right at the knees, perfectly placed in the bottom of the zone, called for a ball. The men in black this afternoon, David Ull behind the plate, David Buck at first, Jim Shaley at second, and David Wiley at third. Swung on and missed. Strikeout number 1 for Connor O'Halloran, and he did a beautiful job last week, Friday, at the Lugnut Stadium at Jackson Field in Lansing. 5 2/3, he allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs. The walks were a bit of an issue later in the appearance with 5. He struck out 8, though. He has been fantastic on the hill for Michigan. He throws ball 1 inside to Zach DiZenzo. And Adam, this lefty, he is just grooving so far. He works very fast, and you can see why he's so successful. Here's the 1-0, swung on and missed outside on a fastball.
Yeah, he's a quick worker, which keeps the pace of play firmly in his control, especially later in games and later in outings. That could be a huge asset.
Here is the 1-1 pitch from O'Halloran. Goes inside and is fouled back to the screen. He's ahead of DiZenzo, 1-2. DiZenzo, a .275 batter, 9 home runs. He has 28 on his career, tied for 12th all-time in a Buckeye uniform. Real offset stance. 1-2 is a slapper towards the second baseman, Burton. He makes the catch, and there is 2 retired. Let's get to that defensive lineup for the Wolverines in left field. Joey Velasquez making just his second start of the season. We'll get to why that is later in this game. In center field, Joe Stort. In right field, Clark Elliott. And then left to right in the infield, Matt Fry at third, Bertram at short. Ted Burton just made the catch at second base. Jack Vandermortel at first, and everyday catcher Jimmy Obertop behind the dish. Popped up middle of the infield from Lipsy, and Burton is there. That's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Connor O'Halloran, and the Wolverines will get their first at-bat after a great inning from O'Halloran to lead us off.
And that was moving fast. I know this was one of your keys to the game, but Michigan, if they want to win, they might have to get up early and keep the pace of play moving. Rain is scheduled to come in any moment now, so this game could get called. If we get to the 5th inning and Michigan has the lead, that's what they'll have to do to maybe get the dub in today's first game of the weekend series.
Well, that figures to bring us right into that keys of the game. And Adam, the first one was get up early. because they're going to need to do that against Ohio State if this game were to be called. It got moved from 6 p.m. tonight down to 1 p.m., and we have a pretty much an opening day style start here, a 1 p.m. game where Michigan, if they get up early enough and rain does come and the umpires decide to call this game, well, that'd be a good sign for the Wolverines to get their first win in this series.
Yeah, Michigan, early in the season, they really struggled with a bullpen and maintaining leads. They got runs early, but they couldn't hang on to it. Fortunately, with the weather, that might not be necessary in today's game. Just take an early lead, and that could be enough.
Michigan has now a sweep in the Big Ten under their belt. They had lost 2 of 3 to Iowa in the prior Big Ten series. As highlights of the Capital Clash are playing on the board right now for Michigan's victory just a week ago in Lansing. And I mean, what a series it was for Michigan. They needed 3 wins. They got 3 wins. We'll touch on the individual stats against the Spartans throughout today's broadcast, but it's safe to say that if Michigan wants any shot at the Big Ten title, which Rutgers is just on an absolute tear, they needed all 3 last weekend, and they also may need all 3 this weekend to have a chance to chase Rutgers at 11-1, Michigan at 6-3. There are plenty of chances for the Wolverines the rest of the way to get there. They may need some help, but they've got to do their job and, you know, win the majority of their games remaining.
Yeah, they can't drop any easy games to easy opponents. We see that, but fortunately for them, they still have a handful of series upcoming against the top of the conference. So looking at opportunities to chip away at their leads, that would be huge.
Well, here's the starting lineup for the Wolverines. Right fielder number 15, Clark Elliott, set to lead us off. Joe Stort bats second. Ted Burton, the second baseman, bats third. Matt Fry in the cleanup spot, the third baseman. The catcher, Jimmy Obertop, bats fifth. The DH, Tito Flores, is sixth. Riley Bertram, 7. Vanner Mortal and Velasquez will round us out. A fastball from the pitcher for Ohio State, Nate Haberthier, is outside, ball 1. 6'5", 245-pound right-hander, a sophomore from West Chester, Ohio, delivers with the 1-0. He misses low and outside, a fastball at 91, and Clark Elliott, the also dangerous and versatile Elliott, is ahead 2-0. Holds the glove at the belt in the windup, steps back with the right foot and delivers home. Strike number 1, high and outside corner. Slowed the fastball down just a bit. 2 miles an hour slower at 88. Haberthier from the middle of the rubber sets for the 2-1. Ground ball left side, and that will squeeze through the gap. Oh no, it's gloved by the shortstop Ernst, but there's no play for him over at first base. And man, Clark Elliott just continues his absolute tear. He was 6 of 14 against the Spartans last weekend, but Adam, the Friday game, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. He led the game off with the homer in the first, a grand slam in the second, and then why not the cherry on top, a home run in the 8th inning.
Yeah, he almost had the elusive home run cycle where you have a grand slam, 3-run, 2-run, and solo shot. Not quite there, but almost.
Here's Joe Stort hitting every 3 at-bats as Clark Elliott fakes running towards second base, and a breaking ball falls in for a strike to Joe. 9-game hit streak for Stort, 5 of 14 against the Spartans. Had 2 home runs against his former team. Of course, Joe Stort spent 4 years of undergrad in East Lansing and decided Michigan was the place to be for his graduate year. Haberthier checks over to Elliott at first base. Defensive lineup for Ohio State, Lipsy in left, Kern in center, Oakley is in right, Bauer at third, Ernst at shortstop, Reckart at second, DiZenzo at first, and Brookman behind the dish. Totis is the DH, and Nate Haberthier is the arm for Ohio State. That pitch miss is just a bit low, a fastball again. Limited action we've seen so far to the first 1.5 batters. Lots of fastballs, only 1 breaking ball. 0-3 record, 6.63 ERA, making his 9th start on the season. Here's the 1-1 to Joe Stort. Elliott off and running, back up the middle towards the second baseman, Reckart, and it is a double play.
They say he's safe at second.
They call him safe at second base. So Elliott slid in just in time, but my eyes were taken from second base to the ball over at first. So Joe Stort's retired. He advances Clark Elliott to second. Just a ground out to the second baseman for Joe Stort. Here's Ted Burton.
That's a little bit of a mixed bag there, because on one hand, if Elliott had not run on the pitch, he most certainly would have been out. But on the other hand, if he hadn't run, I don't think the second baseman would have been creeping in as much, and he was in the perfect position to field it. He might have found the gap and been in the outfield for a hit.
Here's Ted Burton, a bouncing ball softly left side and foul. 271 average, 8 homers for Ted on the season now. Walked 3 times, had a double, scored 3 runs against Old Sparty over the 3-game set last weekend. No midweek game for Michigan, but a midweek game for Ohio State. They got their 3rd win over the Marshall Thundering Herd. Here's the 0-1. Bouncing ball softly again, but foul, just inches shy of third base. 0-2.
A quarter of Ohio State's wins this season come from the Thundering Herd.
Played 2 different sets, 1 in Columbus, 2 down in Florida. They've beaten them all 3 times. So they fell behind 4-0. In the game on Tuesday, they came from behind, won 7-6. Coming set at the belt is Haberthier, a couple of steps towards home plate. Looks back at Elliott and comes home. Strike 3 got him looking. That's a beautiful breaking ball that went right past the hip of Ted Burton and flew into the strike zone for the first strikeout for Nate Haberthier.
That was a low and inside slider and just barely found the zone according to the home plate ump. Brings up a 2-out batter with a runner in scoring position. Michigan has struggled leaving runners on base all this season. Lots of lost opportunities.
Haberthier again set at the belt, working from the middle of the rubber. High leg kick delivery and a high chopper towards the right side, and he will simply just tag Matt Fry. And Fry and Haberthier have a couple of words with each other. That will retire the Wolverines off the base paths. 1 single, but nothing else. 1 left on base for the Wolverines. Let's head to the top of the 2nd inning while avoiding the rain here in Ann Arbor. A 0-0 score on WCBN.
At least Michigan got a base runner there off that line laser from the leadoff Elliott, but unable to do anything with that. Decent crowd coming out in attendance, especially for a game that was moved up this early on a Friday. It's usually not typical. They like to schedule these Friday games at 4 or 5 or 6, so children could come off school, parents could come off work, students could come out of the classroom. But I guess maybe with exams, folks wanted a bit of a break and play, so to speak, and take some time off from studying and come out to Fisher Stadium.
Well, that's the goal for tomorrow at least, a student study break, they're calling it, before the full-on exam week and the pressures that come with that. The Wolverines playing good baseball, albeit the school schedule, and I'm sure that's a big reason why Eric Bakich decided not to schedule a midweek game this past week and this coming week before they head to Purdue next weekend. But playing good baseball, they have this 3-game home series. They'll go to Purdue for 3 games next weekend. I mean, Michigan, they enter at 20-15. They were 17-15 entering the Michigan State series. 6-3 now in the Big Ten. They were 3-3. They're at 5th, and they're just a hair behind Iowa simply because the Hawkeyes took 2 of 3 from the Wolverines here in Ann Arbor a couple of weekends ago.
They have a midweek game against Youngstown State in about 10 days from now. And beyond that, come back home for Indiana, and then they got 2 huge series against Maryland and then Rutgers, 2 of the top teams in the Big Ten Conference standings. To finish off the regular season against the Scarlet Knights might decide Michigan's fate if they're lucky.
Here's the first pitch from O'Halloran to begin the 2nd inning, and it's fouled back towards the parking lot. Leading it off is Cade Kern. We'll see Colton Bauer and Brent Totis following that for Greg Beal's Ohio State Buckeye Club. Breaking ball outside, misses away, couldn't slide back into the strike zone. The right-handed batter, Kern, a long stance, holds the bat across the shoulder, pops it up back towards the broadcast booth, well foul. And this is danger zone for any batter that faces off against the youngster Connor O'Halloran, holding the glove in front of his face, offset feet, goes above the head, delivers with the left arm. Popped up right side, should be playable for Elliott, making a long run. This ball is back, it carries out of here for a home run. That looked simply like a fly ball to right, and the wind that's blowing out towards right field simply carries it out of the park for an Ohio State home run. They have a lead here in the second inning. That just looked like a fly ball.
Yeah, it went up in the air and it kept carrying, and just barely had enough to get over that short and close right field fence right by the Jumbotron at Fisher.
5th home run on the season for Cade Kern. He puts the Buckeyes ahead 1-0. O'Halloran back to work against Colton Bauer, who returns from injury today. Looks at ball 1 outside. O'Halloran doesn't have a lot of speed on the fastball, but he can put it in there if he has to. Very good placement. Ball number 2, missed again with the fastball. And O'Halloran just needs to take a deep breath right now. He's working a little too fast. That's exactly what he does. Steps behind the rubber, gets back on, stares in at Bauer for the 2-0. This one's fouled back to the screen. It goes back towards the parking lot again. And whenever I tell someone and they tell me they're coming to Ray Fisher Stadium for a game, here's the 2-1. Breaking ball, beautiful pitch that falls in for a backdoor strike. I tell them, just don't park down the right field line.
Yeah.
Cars are in danger territory the whole time.
Hope you have good insurance.
The 2-2. Swung on and fouled towards the foot of Bauer. He'll gingerly walk it off behind home plate umpire David Ull.
I enjoy running at that track down the right field line, and I occasionally have to dodge some baseballs. Have to stay on my feet quite literally.
Here's the 2-2. Just missed a little bit low. Obertop had to go down for it.
That was all on the cell. I think with a better cell, that might have been strike 3.
Full count pitch coming from O'Halloran to Bauer. Popped up right side. That'll get out of play, foul. Right on cue off the hood of a Hyundai. How about that? I just tell people, don't park down the baseline. Makes no sense.
And a lot of folks, they come for softball and they don't realize there's a baseball game also happening. Michigan also playing Ohio State in softball today.
There's ball 4 outside, a fastball that misses. Obertop had to reach well across his body for it, and the first walk for Connor O'Halloran.
Batting 6th, the designated hitter number 12, Brent Totis.
Here's Brent Totis now. Steps into the box, kind of hovers over the plate, waves that bat around quite a bit with that front foot moving a lot. Oh, nice breaking ball from O'Halloran, swung on and missed. Totis, a .257 batter, 1 homer, couple of extra base hits. He has 6 doubles, struck out 15 times, and walked 7. Didn't play on Tuesday against Marshall. He's ready for O'Halloran's 0-1. That one's lined into right. Elliott coming on. And that will advance the runner all the way over to third base. And runners are now on first and third for Ohio State with no outs in the second inning. It's a nice piece of hitting there from Brent Totis.
After a very quick first frame from O'Halloran, just can't seem to make it happen again in the second. Already given up 3 hits, or 2 hits rather, and a walk. Just on cue, we got a mound visit too.
Steve Merriman is out there to just have a chat with O'Halloran. No one close to getting loose for Michigan. Everyone's still hanging out down in the dugout. They'll have Drew Reckart up next for Ohio State. He also didn't play Tuesday, and he's one of his last 15. O'Halloran, he's got to look for either a strikeout or just a roll into a double play. And if you're Michigan, it's safe to say with the abysmal defense of Ohio State, 63 errors on the season, which is by far the Big Ten's lead. you'd be okay with being down 2-0 going into the bottom of the second inning. You've got plenty of game left, although it kind of goes against my keys of the game that I gave you of getting up early with the weather coming. A 2-0 lead is really not all that much in collegiate baseball.
We got corners in and middle of the infield playing back, hoping to maybe turn 2. The traditional first and third play. Both base runners have yet to record a successful steal this season.
It's also hard to steal on Connor O'Halloran, the lefty. First pitch misses low and outside. Went to the changeup on that pitch, and Reckart laid off the right-handed batter. The Ohio State second baseman stands with his feet equal, looks at O'Halloran's 1-0 and pops it up out of play, once again back towards the parking lot.
Today's game is on Big Ten Network. We have a cherry lift over in right field with the camera crew on top.
1 ball, 1 strike. O'Halloran stares at the runner at first base, Totus. Delivers a fastball swung on and missed. Nice pitch low in the zone from O'Halloran, 1-2. O'Halloran bent over at the waist, stands at the middle of the rubber, holds the ball down towards his waist, comes set, looks home, delivers. Ball 2, just missed inside. Reckart stood out of the way of it, Derek Jeter-like. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Reckart really crowding the plate there.
Here is the 2-2. That one misses high and outside as well. A fastball from O'Halloran in the opposite batter's box. So now here is truly danger time for O'Halloran. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runners on the corners, and a threat of loading the bases for Ohio State. Fry now moves back behind third base for the 3-2. Breaking ball in there for strike number 3, the second strikeout for Connor O'Halloran, and that's a big out to get, man, I tell you.
Oh, huge. And now if you turn 2, you can maybe get out of the inning with only surrendering 1 run.
And surprising enough, it being on the solo home run.
Yeah.
Here's the left-handed bat, Mitchell Oakley. He went 0 for 4 with a strikeout on Tuesday against Marshall. 226 batter, 2 homers on the season. He's knocked in 9 RBIs, looking for potentially 10 or more in this AB. Long look from O'Halloran and dives into home plate for a strike on the outside half. Nice pitch, maybe a better frame job from Jimmy Obertop. This is probably the part of the order that you'd want if you're O'Halloran at this point. Here's the 0-1 with 1 out. Squares to bunt, lays it down. Obertop will come home, and he will simply just tag the runner, but it's called foul.
That is probably fortunate for Ohio State, avoiding the out there. Beautifully played by Michigan's defense, even if they would have surrendered the base runner, kept
Must
the
have
run.
just nicked off home plate.
Is that what they're saying?
Called foul. It's either that or it hit off of his foot, but
You think
the
it
runner
hit
was
his leg,
fully going. But now it's 0-2, and O'Halloran's a good strikeout pitcher against Mitchell Oakley, who has struck out quite a bit this season, 23 Ks. Here's the 0-2. Oh, nice pitch outside, breaking ball that was fouled away towards the Michigan dugout.
Staying alive to live another day.
O'Halloran settles in, stares in at his catcher, Jimmy Obertop, waving the bat once, and a half wave towards O'Halloran for the batter, Oakley. The delivery, line drive left side, and this ball will get down in front of Joey Velasquez. That'll score 1 run, and then the relay in is caught by Bertram, but Ohio State has a 2-0 lead here in the second inning, courtesy of Mitchell Oakley. RBI number 10.
That's a huge, huge play for Oakley, coming on back from down 0-2, fouling one off, and then eventually putting it in play to get the RBI single.
Here is Archer Brookman. He went 1 for 2 on Tuesday, scored a run, tabbed an RBI. Here's a line drive right side. That'll get through. Clark Elliott with a great arm and right immediately relays the ball into Vandermortel, and the bases are now loaded as the head coach Beals holds up Totus at third. 4 hits now in the inning for Ohio State, and here comes the top of the order.
I have a feeling this might be a short outing for O'Halloran.
Here's Marcus Ernst, the OSU shortstop. Michigan used their mound visit with Steve Merriman already in this inning. No action down in the bullpen. Ernst 0 for 1. He struck out to begin the game, looks at a breaking ball back door, and it's called as a ball above the zone. 347 average for Ernst, team's leader. The next highest is 311. That's Bauer, and he lifts one into left. Velasquez chasing, and he runs into the wall. And that's nothing new for Joey Velasquez, the dual sport athlete, running into the wall, running into running backs in Schembechler Hall. The Michigan dual sport athlete plays linebacker for Jim Harbaugh as well, getting the start because he is a Columbus, Ohio native. That's pretty cool for Velasquez out there in left field.
Yeah, getting to start against your hometown team and arch rival.
There's a line drive into left center. That'll get down. That's at least one run, and here comes the runner from second base, Oakley. He will score, and it is a 4-0 Ohio State lead here in the second inning.
The hit parade keeps continuing, and Michigan quickly finds himself down in the hole with only 1 out here in the second frame.
First baseman number 4.
And also advances Archer Brookman over to third base. 2 RBIs for Marcus Ernst on that swing. And that's RBIs number 13 and 14 on the season. One of just 2 Buckeyes to start every game, and here's the other one, DeZenzo. He's got runners on the corners with 1 out. O'Halloran pitches inside, misses him, skipping out of the way is DeZenzo, 1-0. Fastball that just missed badly inside.
Half an inch away from trotting over to first base on that one.
O'Halloran settles in. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball misses, or excuse me, that falls into the strike zone. A late call from the home plate umpire, David Ohl. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hey, we'll take whatever we can get at this point.
O'Halloran great at mixing up the speeds of his pitches.
Squaring to bunt. Here's a bouncing ball, but it just ranges foul. Across the Block M logo on the first base line, and Obertop will retrieve it. 1-2 now. That pretty much will take the bunt out of place. But that is quite the risky call from Greg Beals down the third base line, their third base coach and skipper, choosing the bunt in a 1-1 count with the runners on the corners.
Yeah, maybe a sack play, get a guy home.
The 1-2 popped up infield. This is playable for Ted Burton. He ranges into right, backpedals, makes the catch, and that is now 2 outs in the inning. And you're Connor O'Halloran. You just want to leave this inning down 4. No more
Am I
damage.
mistaken, or would that have been like an infield fly situation with 1 out? I don't know if it went a little bit too far for that. But
Yeah,
nothing called on the field.
Well, here is Trey Lipsy. He popped out to Burton in his first debut. A slider misses outside. O'Halloran's slider and changeup are 2 pitches that are very similar in velocity but have such different movement. His changeup is good at diving late, and the slider is just beautiful pitch that works really well against right-handed bats. Here's the 1-0. He goes fastball this time, misses well above the zone as Obertop leaves his crouch. Cade Kern on deck. He led off the inning with a solo homer. And all of a sudden, a little bit of action down in the bullpen for Michigan. And O'Halloran with the pickoff move to first, throws the ball away. Vandermortel throws to second base, tags the runner, he's out. But the runner does score at home. That'll end the inning. And a frustrated Michigan team will head back to the dugout, trailing by 5 after a 5-spot put up here in the second inning by Ohio State.
Michigan is lucky to get the out, but that's the worst possible way you want. You surrender that run, gave up a 5 spot in the second. Just especially in a game that might end early, you don't want those rain parade or hit parades to pile on.
So that will be, you'd figure that would be an error on Michigan.
I would imagine 2. Yes, it is.
There it is. There it
Took
is.
a moment.
So Archer Brookman comes in to score on an error on Connor O'Halloran, but Michigan, they have some work to do now as they trail it by 5 heading into the bottom of the second inning. And it'll be Obertop, Flores, and Bertram to lead things off for Michigan in the bottom of the second.
Michigan needs a showing of their own early in this game, too. Weather's still holding up for now, but it's getting cloudier. Curious to see how much of a leash O'Halloran gets in this game 1 of the weekend series. And just as I say that, I see some drizzle droplets starting to come on down.
A couple of umbrellas making some early appearances.
I feel
here
like
in Ann
I may
Arbor.
have jinxed it up from the press
come
box.
on, Adam.
But for baseball, it is a turf diamond. As long as it's not storming, I have a feeling they might try and power through, especially with the national television covering this one.
Well, Ohio State's got an early 5-0 lead over the Wolverines. They put up 5 in the second. Here's Jimmy Obertop. 292 average, steadily making its way back up after dropping sharply in late March and early April. Went 3 of 5 on Saturday, 4 of 13 across the MSU series. He looks at strike number 1 on a fastball in the outside half. Haberthier back to work with the 0-1. This one's lifted into right. This one may have a chance. Oakley back, track, wall, gone! Jimmy Obertop, home run number 5 on the season, and the Michigan catcher puts the Wolverines on the board for the first time this afternoon.
I said Michigan needed an answer. Ohio State started off with a walk-off, or with a, not walk-off, with a lead-off home run. Michigan coming up, same exact thing. Obertop drives it to pretty much the same spot, too. This one had a little bit more of an oomph, but both of them went over the fence and right.
Well, here is Tito Flores, the team's leader in home runs. He's the only one with double-digit homers. He's got 10. First pitch to him is inside, fastball right at the knees. Missed for ball number 1. He homered in the Friday game against Michigan State, tabbed 5 RBIs to that total. Haberthier sets at the belt, delivers in the windup, the 1-0. Fastball called strike outside corner.
Flores as DH, traditionally an outfielder, been mixing him in at that position the past couple of weeks. This 272 average.
1-1, sharp ground ball left side, foul. And Tito has been much better with the bat since moving to that full-time DH position. Jordan Rogers getting plenty of playing time in left. And the throw from the left fielder, Lipsy, missed terribly and bounces back into play after the ricochet into left. So we'll have to wait an extra moment, and we're set to play ball again. Here's the 1-2 from Haberthier. This one's driven in the left, but that's well foul.
I don't know about well foul. That looked like it maybe had a chance for a moment. Completely fly ball, had a ton of pop to it.
You know there's plenty of pop in the bat of Tito Flores. You mentioned 272, I mentioned 10 homers. But he also has 34 RBIs on the season, 37 total hits. Here's the 1-2. Checked his swing, did not go, and Flores steps out of the box for a quick moment and will step back in.
He's lucky that wasn't a called strike. Looked pretty close to me.
Ohio State, 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error on Michigan in that inning. Here's the 2-2. Goes breaking ball, and I keep saying Obertop. Flores well in front of that ball, fouled down the left field line, and will stick around at 2-2.
Yeah, I had a 79-mile-per-hour pitch, but he slapped it down the third base line, 97 exit velo.
Count is even at 2-2. Real crouch stance for Tito Flores. Here's the 2-2. Lifted into right, but foul.
He is
That'll fly
finding
into the OSU bullpen.
He's fine in every part of foul territory except in between the base paths.
I'd like if he'd put one right here into the booth.
Would you be ready to catch it on the fly if
Oh, yeah.
something comes? It would be tough because with the angle of the net, it would have to be a very particular.
And the overhang.
Yeah.
Had a better chance at getting one in Lansing last week. Here's a 2-2. Well inside. And that one almost hit Tito Flores. Fills up the count now, 3-2. And Tito Flores, he is a ball magnet. He's been hit by the pitch 10 times. The next highest for Michigan is 7, and that's Ted Burton. Three balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Flores. Swung on and missed. Nice pitch low and inside, and Flores went golfing for it and just whiffed on it. Would have been ball 4.
That had nasty movement, and Flores, you could tell with the look in his eyes that he should have let that one go.
Here's Riley Bertram, the Wolverine shortstop. Well, he had a tough series against Michigan State. He went 1 of 13, but the only hit was a double. He fouls one to the screen left side.
I guess if there's any upside to this inning, Michigan's at least making good contact with the pitcher.
Herbert Thieres 0-1. That one catches the top part of the strike zone. No balls and 2 strikes to Riley Bertram. 1 homer, 20 RBIs at .267 batting average. Herbert Thieres stares in for the 0-2. Quick step back, delivers home. Ground ball right side towards the second baseman, Reckart. Throws to first, that's the first baseman, DeZenzo, and 2 gone in the Michigan second.
And the first baseman, number 51, Jack Van Mortel.
Jack Vandermortel, he's seen his average slowly creep up a little bit as well, now at .254 after returning from injury 3 weeks ago. He missed the better part of March, returned in late March, and has played pretty well throughout April now. First pitch from Herbert Thieres is a ball just inside, maybe a little high as well. One ball, no strikes. Pitch from Herbert Thieres catches the outside part of the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. No homers on the season though for Jack. It's a closed stance. Feet are real tight together, waving the bat around, and he looks at ball number 2, just a bit low. Breaking ball that time from Herbert Thieres.
We got a cargo train making its way on the tracks between Fisher and the big house. Maybe a big blast could hit that one.
Oh, there's a big blast into center field. Adam, did you just call that one? Kern all the way back. That's a homer to dead center field. Clip that one. It's 400 feet for Jack Vandermortel and his first on the season. You've got to be kidding me.
It's going to be a power show today between Michigan and Ohio State. Love to see it as the rain begins to pick up a little bit.
Well, we know a thing or two about inclement weather and Ohio State.
Yeah. Just a half-mile away, we can see the big house in the distance.
Well, here is Joey Velasquez, and this is an interesting story for today's game. Not much game action for Joey, but he is a native of Columbus, Ohio, and the dual sport athlete, plays linebacker for the Wolverines. Well, he enters with a .400 batting average, but don't look too deep into that. Not many plate appearances for Joey, just 5. He's got a hit in 1. He lifts one into left field, playable for Lipsy in mid-left, and he makes a catch. Michigan gets 2 on 2 solo shots in the bottom half of the second inning after Ohio State's 5. But they cut into the lead, and that's important for the Wolverines here on WCBN.
Yeah, they might not get a full 9, but there's no rush to get all of the runs back all at once. Just 2 should be enough for now. Chip away at the pitcher, come back next inning too with the top of their order.
All right, contestants, are you ready? On your mark.
Connor O'Halloran will be back out to work for the Wolverines. And safe to say, Adam, that was a tough inning for Connor O'Halloran, but he's got to come back and he's got to pitch even better than how he ended that inning, because he ended it not all that bad. He got a little bit of help from his infield, but he's still delivering nice breaking balls, but he missed with a couple fastballs, and that was the tough part of his outing in the second.
Great pitchers. They might get rocked every once in a while, but they don't let it affect them. They come back the next inning, get recomposed, and finish the outing, and that's important. Glad I brought an umbrella for my walk back home after this one. It's funny, we see basically the entire grandstand's empty, except for the two sections that are undercover, and those are jam-packed. Barely an open seat left.
And of course, there's always the one person that's wearing a Michigan State sweatshirt when Michigan and Ohio State are playing in any sport.
It's a statement. It's like the people who vote third party. They just want to, they hate both sides.
Well, credit to the people that are here to see the Wolverines today with the forecast, knowing there was going to be rain, and rain coming down softly as of right now, but enough to the point where it certainly bother you if you're a pitcher, and that's a tough grip to get on a baseball.
Yeah. I have a feeling they'll be going through a lot of balls in this one.
Trey Lipsy to lead it off for Ohio State. He was at the plate when O'Halloran threw over to first base and missed badly on a pickoff attempt, which scored an extra run, but the runner tagged out at second. He missed on ball one. Here's the 1-0. And took a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now. Lipsy in the first popped out to the second baseman, but following him in the order is when everything went well for Ohio State. 1-1 pitch off the plate, 2-1.
Lipsy batting .307 on the season.
Good for second on the team. Breaking ball looked like the changeup this time for O'Halloran, missed inside. Ducking out of the way is Lipsy. 3 balls and 1 strike. O'Halloran stares in. Here's a 3-1. And inside, ball 4.
He didn't even wait for the call. He started trotting over to first before. But that adds a first runner as Kern comes up with a 1-for-1 on the day with 1 RBI, 1 hit, and 1 run. Guess now is a chance for a 2-run blast with a base runner now.
Mentioned he was 2 for 4 on Tuesday, now 3 of 5 in his last 5 ABs. Also drove in an RBI against Marshall, and he fouls one back to the screen for strike number 1. Runner over at first base, Lipsy has a pretty solid lead considering the lefty O'Halloran. Delivers home to Kern, fouled back out of play again, and O'Halloran much better in his count now. It's 0-2.
Kern is just a split second too slow on both of those foul balls. Don't quickly give him an 0-2 count.
O'Halloran set, stares down Lipsy at first. Delivers home. Nice pitch. That's a waste pitch outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Went with the changeup at 84. That's a good pitch, though, from O'Halloran. Certainly makes Kern think about it. Almost thought about chasing as he leaned over the plate. Here's the 1-2. Fouled and behind, over top it goes.
It's awfully inside, too. I'm kind of surprised he was able to make any contact on it whatsoever.
O'Halloran comes set and delivers home. The 1-2 is a soft ground ball foul down the left field line. Matt Fry will retrieve it. Michigan does have an arm getting up and getting loose, and that's Noah Renard. He's been fantastic all season for Michigan, and you figure.
I'm surprised they'd put him in so early, though. Usually they don't like to give him too much of a relief.
High fly ball into center. Stewart is under it. Right at the Block M logo, makes the catch, and there is 1 gone here in the 3rd. Here's Colton Bauer playing in his first game since the Michigan State series 2 weeks ago. Now, I've heard that having Bauer in the lineup is a big help for Ohio State, especially considering that Bauer is their third baseman, and it's a very valuable position to have in the field. The first pitch from O'Halloran swung on and missed, fastball outside. And, you know, third base, you've got a guy with an injury. I'd say third base, shortstop. Those are two of the most difficult positions to lose somebody that you know is such a staple in the lineup with the bat as well. Here's the 0-1 from O'Halloran. This one's lifted up on out of play. I mean, you look at the Tigers with Javier Baez missing at shortstop. That is a hard position to replace, the left side of the infield, especially with the bat that he brings.
The bat, too, but defensively, you can't discount that. Shortstop's the leader of the infield.
The 0-2. Line drive in the left. Velasquez over, and he makes the catch. The lefty will relay that back in. 2 gone in the Ohio State third.
And this is exactly what you love to see out of O'Halloran. Able to get composed. Gave up an early base runner, didn't let it affect him. Keeping his eye on the prize, and now he has 2 outs with just a runner on first base in the top of the third here.
Here's Brent Totis. Totis has a single. He came around to score. Fastball misses upstairs. He came around to score on the single by Marcus Ernst in the second inning. O'Halloran, nice breaking ball, swung straight through by Totis. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We have Lipsy on first, and he has 11 stolen base attempts on the season. I'm kind of surprised he's been glued so much. Guess with the southpaw on the hump, makes it a little bit more difficult.
The 1-1. Low and outside, missing. And O'Halloran is giving a long stare over to Lipsy before every pitch. You figure that's got something to do with it. They have their game notes, and you can see once in a while the players will pull the notes out of their back pocket or their hat, stare at it, and see what exactly the players are about. Joe Stewart will range back into right center, and Totis is retired, and we will head to the bottom of the third inning. Michigan throws up a 0 for Ohio State, and they'll look to cut into the 5-2 lead when we come back here from Ann Arbor.
That's just what Michigan needed. They have the top of their lineup coming on up now, hoping to chip away at their 3-run deficit. We have Mays out on Sunday, I believe. That should be a lot of fun, giving out some Mays yellow jerseys to the first, first couple hundred fans. They had a giveaway today, too, if I wasn't mistaken. Did like some themed bottles or something.
Yep, water bottle giveaway today. I think it's Superhero Day tomorrow at the park, so should be plenty of kids in attendance. And I mean, why wouldn't you want to come out tomorrow? 81 degrees, partly sunny, and then 79 degrees on Sunday. I mean, you want to get your Michigan baseball in. That's exactly the way to do it, especially for the students who may be leaving campus within the next 2 weeks. It's your best
honestly
chance.
Within the next week or so, too. It's for those tuning in, classes ended on Tuesday, and exams technically go until next Friday. But I know a lot of folks, if they have early exams or have take-home or online stuff, they're headed home early. I am not. I have an exam next Wednesday, but then I'll be done.
You'll be sticking around, though.
Yeah. And you'll be in Ann Arbor for the rest of the season, too, covering this baseball team. This is actually my last home baseball game of the season, but I'll be doing a road game from College Park, Maryland, which should be a lot of fun.
That'll be a big series, too.
That's a beautiful stadium they have there. I heard not the nicest press spots, but we'll see about that firsthand. They have such a great J school. I'm kind of surprised they don't have a great press box, but when we covered the football game in College Park, they had a very nice press box for that.
Oh, and the Chick-fil-A was fantastic.
Oh,
Ball 1 to Clark Elliott below the zone. Haberthier back out to work for his third inning. Well, 7 combined runs in the second. And in the first inning, no runs at all. No runs for Ohio State in their half of the third. The 1-0 to Elliott. Right back up the middle. He's 2 for 2.
Both of his shots have been laser beams, too.
He just does not stop hitting.
Yeah.
Here's Joe Stewart, a 9-game hit streak, perhaps on the line here today against Haberthier. I'll tell you what, man, Clark Elliott is just a walking fireball at this point, and he was absolutely last Friday. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs.
He's batting .366, which is quite impressive this late in the season.
Here's a little chopper towards the left side. Nice backhanded play by Ernst, and out at second base is Clark Elliott.
That's awfully close.
Jim Shaley, the second base umpire, looked like it probably got in there in time, did the throw. But Elliott got a little bit of help from the wet turf to have an early slide, just not in there quite in time. But a beautiful play by Ernst over at short.
Ends up being a fielder's choice, so that hit streak does not survive. Honestly, though, with the way it was hit, if he went to first, if there weren't any base runners, I think he would have beat it out.
Joe Stewart's got a lot of speed, and this ball bounces away. Stewart, he decides to take second, and sliding over to grab the ball is DeZenzo, but Stewart is standing up at second base.
So I guess the wet turf is going both ways, both offensively and defensively.
Well, Ted Burton at the plate now. He struck out looking in the first inning. Breaking ball. Caught his knees just absolutely locked up. 1 out here in the Michigan third with the runner at second base. Joe Stewart, he'll take third. The catcher, Brookman, lost it in front of him, and Joe Stewart, he steals another bag. He's now 11 of 12 on the season.
That last play, the pickoff attempt, is the first error for the Buckeye, the Scarlet and Gray. They have quite a few on the season. That is not a new sight for them.
64 errors on the season now. 1-0 is a called strike on the outside corner. Breaking ball from Haberthier.
1 out and a runner on third. You got to get this guy home. Down by 3. It's completely essential.
Haberthier comes set at the belt. Stares into Burton. Here's the 1-1. Popped up back to the screen, and that's one of the foul balls that would come to us. It was just a shade over to our right. We're perched right behind home plate, pretty much right behind the right-handed batter's box.
It would have to just barely clear the net, because anything higher would probably get hit by the overhang.
I wonder if one has ever come in here.
That's a great, not in my time, I know that for sure. But
here's the 1-2 to Ted Burton. Big pitch. Locked his knees up again, but just missed below the zone at 79 with a curveball. And back to those errors. Now 64 on the season for Ohio State. If you take that divided by their 34 games played, including this game, that's 1.9 errors a game.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why their record is down at 12-21. Here's the 2-2. That ball misses inside. It almost hit the kneecap of Ted Burton.
Clocked in at 89. He's lucky that didn't. That would leave him sore for a couple of days.
Ted's been hit by the pitch 7 times on the year. Full count pitch from Haberthier upcoming. And he fouled it off his leg anyway.
He avoided the hit by pitch. He's like, you know what, I'll make my leg sore anyway, and I won't even need the free base. Let me hang on in there. He's a shin guard, though. He can take it.
Well, if you're Michigan, you'd like anything deep into the outfield.
Honestly, even an infield play, if it's properly positioned, it could be a sack fielder's choice.
3 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out in the Michigan third with a runner on third base. 5-2 Ohio State. Pitch from Haberthier, ground ball left side, foul.
He's staying in it there. That had the pop, just a little bit too early on it. I love how they display the exit velocity and the pitch speed on the Jumbotron.
That one at 100.
Yeah.
Haberthier reaching back for that last fastball, 90.5 miles an hour. Here's the 3-2 for the third time from Haberthier. Oh, sharp ground ball left side, but well foul, way ahead of it again. Michigan would love to get at least one here in this third. They trailed it by 3 against Ohio State.
That would be huge, especially with a runner on third with 1 out. If you come out of this without any runs to show for it, quite embarrassing.
3-2 for a 4th time. Ground ball left side sharply enough to where it will score the run. The throw over to first base is in time. Jumping up to grab it is DeZenzo, but it's an RBI ground out for Ted Burton, and that's RBI number 41 on the year for Ted. Adds on to his team lead.
And Michigan brings it within 2. It's now 3-5 with 2 outs. Matt Fry up. Seven home runs on the season and 29 RBIs for Fry.
The graduate transfer from Davidson looks at ball number 1 low and inside. Grounded out to the pitcher in his first AB. Here's a line drive. Ground ball towards the right side. DeZenzo picks it up at first base. And we will head to the 4th inning with Ohio State leading it 5-3. But Michigan has scratched back in an encouraging way after being down 5-0 in the second.
And I don't want to jinx it. For those at home, I'm knocking on wood. But the skies have cleared up for the moment. Hopefully that allows a couple more innings to get in the books before it picks up again. It's supposed to rain all through the night, but then it's going to be beautiful this weekend. As you were mentioning earlier, rain's supposed to continue until 3 a.m. And then the temperatures are going to pick up to 73 and higher this weekend, up to potentially 81 Saturday afternoon, 79 on Sunday. It's going to be a beautiful one here in Ann Arbor. Give a taste of sunshine to the seniors who are departing home. Next Saturday, when the graduation ceremony is scheduled for, going to be a nice and crisp 57 degrees, have a low of 34, so there's a chance of snow potentially. Wouldn't be Michigan without that.
Well, it'll be Connor O'Halloran back out to work for Michigan. He's sitting at 61 pitches. The youngster with a 4-2 record. He's won all of his last 4 decisions, so he began the season 0-2, but plenty of starts in between where O'Halloran has been pretty darn good. He's won his last 4, and out of his last 3 appearances, he's 2-0 with a sub-3 ERA. He's just been fantastic against Michigan State, Cal State Fullerton, and Iowa. For Ohio State, Drew Reckard at 7-8-9 for the Buckeyes with a 5-3 lead. Ohio State 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error on them. Michigan 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error on them.
Reckard batting 155 this season. 0 for 1 today, and he's coming in this series with a slump at the plate.
Swings and misses at pitch number 1. Fastball slowed down just a tad from O'Halloran. 0 for 1 struck out looking in the second inning. And that's called strike for strike number 2. Change up, top of the zone. That's a pitch you'd usually like to hit. He was the first out of that long second inning for Ohio State, which they put up 5 runs. The 0-2 just missed a bit low. Now, one of his last 16 didn't play on Tuesday. O'Halloran delivers home. Breaking ball, strike 3, and Reckart knew it immediately. That's strikeout number 2 on the day for him. And for Connor O'Halloran, it's number 3 on this young game.
Goes back to the dugout. He's now 1 of his last 17. He needs to break out of this slump soon for the senior.
Here's Oakley. He's 1 for 1, RBI single, and he will drive one into left center. And coming in is Velasquez, but can't make the play. And now 2 for 2 is Oakley. How about the bottom 2 in the order for Ohio State? They are 3 for 3, scoring 2 runs, Oakley and Brookman. And here is the Ohio State catcher.
That's rough for the pitcher. These guys in these spots are supposed to be relatively easier outs. If you're giving up hits and then eventually runs to them, you're leaving a lot of potential on the table.
Breaking ball misses low. Overtop will back pick over to first base, as getting well off the bag was Oakley.
I have a feeling we'll see an out by a back pick this game. People are going to slip up on the base path. The turf is wet. People slipping and sliding. Someone's going to get caught one of these days shuffling out.
The 1-0 popped up. Flying out of play. Van Mortal will lose chase.
And that one hits a car, too.
Off the bounce, though, so not a direct contact. Maybe a bit luckier. One ball and one strike. O'Halloran bends at the waist, holds the ball loosely, then comes to the light blue glove in front of his face. Stares over at the runner at first. Oakley delivers home for strike number 2.
Halloran, an out here would be huge.
There's a ball just inside. Change up from O'Halloran that missed at the knees of Brookman. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brookman hits into a lot of ground balls, and Michigan is pretty good at turning double plays on this season. They've got 19. Here is the 2-2 from O'Halloran. Breaking ball back door, just missed. O'Halloran stares in at David Ohl, the home plate umpire, and takes a deep breath and will settle back onto the hill.
Gave him some puppy eyes. That was a great frame by the catcher Obertop, too. I thought it would be enough.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The payoff pitch. Runner goes. Strike 3. Throw it on to second base, and that is in time, and that'll end the inning. Well done by O'Halloran. Well done by Obertop, and also one more well done to Ted Burton for the glove down at second base. That'll end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 4th here in Ann Arbor. Michigan trails 5-3.
You love the strike 'em out, throw 'em out plays, especially like that with them running on the pitch. You always risk that when it's not full count and 2 outs.
Well, that's an encouraging sign for Michigan. Ohio State gets 1 hit, no men left on base, no runs. And they will take a 2-run lead into the Michigan 4th, and Haberthier will head back out to the hill. And he's had a pretty solid appearance so far today. Besides the 2 solo home runs, Michigan really hasn't gotten all that much. Of course, 1 error on Haberthier, a stolen base from Joe Stort, and then a ground out from Ted Burton. Any other time, that's just a ground out if Stort doesn't get gifted around the base pads. But I'd say it's been a pretty good appearance so far from Haberthier, especially with a 6.63 ERA and the defense behind him being a bit abysmal this season so far. It's safe to say for Ohio State.
He's had a good appearance, but Michigan is able to hit him. They are making contact. They're hitting it hard. Not all of the time is it in between the foul lines, but it's not like they're whiffing on him at all. I just think it's a matter of time before they settle in and put some balls in play and get some run support out of it. Only down by 2, so it's not too far yet. As we see fans strolling in on the right field side as they go into Alumni Field. We got the Wilpon baseball and softball complex. That game's going to start in about 25 minutes, assuming it happens as scheduled. We got a crew on WCBN1 covering that, so tune in. Maybe have both on at the same time. Could be fun. It'll be like a Buffalo Wild Wings where they got all the streams going.
Obertop, a solo shot in the 2nd inning. It's called for strike number 1, outside corner, fastball from Haberthier. Now 5 of his last 14. That's encouraging for the Michigan catcher. The 0-1. Breaking ball misses outside. Obertop last year dealt with injury, played a lot of first base and DH. Now fully converted back to catcher. Safe to say the everyday catcher for Michigan. The 1-1. Ground ball left side, foul, back into the Michigan dugout. He was recruited as a catcher, had to probably pay some dues by playing first base and waiting. They've got a couple of other catchers on this team that can perform the duties on defense, but the bat is just so important for Obertopasi. Ground ball left side into the glove of Ernst at shortstop, throws to first. Beautiful throw for out number 1. That'll bring up Tito Flores. He struck out swinging. And you mentioned his last at-bat after he struck out that he knew that he had swung at a bad pitch. It was a 3-2 count. Saw a fastball low and inside and just whiffed on it.
And it wasn't a pretty whiff, too. It barely looked like a baseball swing, more like a golf drive, if anything.
He'll fly one into center field. That sends Kern back. He should be able to play this one right in front of the track, makes the catch.
If that had a favorable wind, that might have been over the fence. He had a step on the warning track, but just not quite enough, and it was in the deepest part of the ballpark, too.
The wind seems to still be blowing out a bit towards right center field, just based off of the American flag that's standing in left center. Here's Riley Bertram. He grounded out to the second baseman in his last AB. 2 outs here in the Michigan fourth, and he looks at strike number 1. Just glides across the plate from Haberthier.
This is the core of Michigan's lineup. It's a shame they're not able to do anything this inning and erase the deficit.
Ball 1, low and outside. The 1-1 pitch to Riley Bertram. Misses outside as well. Fastball, not very close. I mean, Adam, you look at these Big Ten standings, and you just see Rutgers at top, 11-1, Illinois at 10-2, and you figure those are the 2 teams. Line drive foul down the right field side, right into the Ohio State bullpen. Yikes. But there's 2 teams that look like they have separated themselves from the rest. Michigan would need some help in order to jump over Iowa, who's also at 6-3, but a decently favorable schedule for Michigan moving forward in the next 2 weeks. And then they've got a really tough Big Ten campaign the rest of the way. Ground ball left side towards Ernst, the shortstop. Bertram cannot run it out, and that's a nice 1-2-3 inning. We'll touch on it more as we get into the 5th inning here from Ann Arbor.
Top of the 5th, Michigan still trailing 3-5. You mentioned the standings, and you're right, it's going to be a tough end of the season, but on the other side of the coin, that does allow them to potentially leapfrog or at least make some gains, because they have a 3-game series at home against Rutgers, 3-game series in College Park against Maryland, and they're tied currently with Iowa. So assuming they're able to make some ground on those series, Michigan could continue to excel in the standings. They would just need some help from Illinois, where they don't play them this season. But they should be able to do well against their final game against Michigan State, playing Indiana and Purdue, both of which should be relatively easy series for the Wolverines, both of them in the bottom half of the Big Ten standings.
It's odd because Indiana's a historically very good baseball team.
Yeah.
Well, Connor O'Halloran is going to be back out there to work for Michigan, sitting at 72 pitches thrown. He only threw 11 pitches in that 4th inning.
It was a quick outing, similar to the top of the 1st. No one actively warming up. Yeah. No one actively warming up in Michigan's pen right now.
Threw 116 pitches last Friday, so you figure he's in there for the long haul, as long as Eric Bakich will have him. Top of the order for Ohio State, 1, 2, and 3. Ernst, DeZenzo, and Lipsy. They're combined 1 of 5 so far in today's game. A walk going in favor of Lipsy, and a single from Ernst, who just lifts one into center field on the first pitch and right into the glove of the waiting Joe Stewart. 1 gone.
First baseman number 4, Zach.
That'll bring up Zach DeZenzo. Lots of power. 0-2 here today. Line drive and pop out, both to the second baseman, Ted Burton. First pitch is a little grounder towards O'Halloran, but it's off the toe of DeZenzo, so called foul. Home plate umpire David Ull will give DeZenzo a couple of moments to settle that foot back in after that ball just hit directly off the top of his foot.
DeZenzo 0 for 2 on the day.
This one's lifted into center. That one's way back, and that ball's gone. And that's homer number 10 on the season for Zach DeZenzo, 6'3" Ohio State. That's deep into center, and Jill Stewart knew it immediately, and so did O'Halloran, 6'3" Buckeyes.
And that at the corner of the field house in deep center. That had a lot of oomph. 112 mile per hour exit velocity on an 85 mile per hour changeup.
Here is Trey Lipsy now as O'Halloran immediately from the mound ready to go. Little chopper towards the right side. That's a tough play. Vander Mortal backhand throws over to first for O'Halloran, and that will be the second out of the inning after the solo shot. 2 home runs going both ways now for Michigan and Ohio State.
Difference is Ohio State has more run support outside of the shots, but they're pretty much identical spots for both of them. Both teams had one blast to center and one blast to right.
Here's Kern. Breaking ball misses outside. Just didn't get the usual bend that we see on a breaking ball from Connor O'Halloran. 1 ball, no strikes to Cade Kern. 1-0, same exact type of pitch, just did not bend over. 2-0. O'Halloran settles in for the 2-0. Glove above the head, delivers to the windup, and it's fouled back to the screen, right towards us. 2-1.
And you could hear the fight song playing from the softball stadium right now, too.
2-1 well inside, bounces off the glove of Overtop and back to the backstop.
Almost gave Kern a little bit of a nick. The inside pitch, able to move out of the way just barely.
3 balls and 1 strike to Cade Kern. He homered in the second inning, got the scoring started. And he will pop it up left side, a towering fly ball. And the shortstop Bertram under it, and coming on as the left fielder Velasquez, and he makes a long, long run to make the grab. And that will retire the side. A solo shot for Ohio State, but nothing else. And they lead it 6-3 here in Ann Arbor, and a game that's gone by pretty quickly, we'd say.
Yeah, I think both teams realize this might not last the full 9, and they're trying to get as much in as they can. Members of the event staff throwing foam baseballs into the crowd. Getting people on their feet here. Think they could hit one into the press box for us?
Should I reach my hand out just in case?
Yeah. Someone has a good enough arm, they definitely could reach us. We got a big open window today, too.
Man, would that be funny if they actually threw it up in here?
That would be. We once got something in Chrysler
that was pretty
for
close.
the T-shirt toss. Someone threw it up to the press box, and I think it was Charlie Brigham who hauled one in. They see you, they just don't want to get it. I don't think they have enough of an arm, honestly.
I don't think we'd ever be able to take that ball out of here.
Yeah.
Nate Haberthier is back to the hill for Ohio State in the bottom of the 5th inning, and
So both pitchers going far. Had some questions coming into this game, but
his last start, 3 2/3 of an inning, 10 hits. He allowed 4 earned runs, walked 1, only struck out 3, multiple extra base hits. He even balked once in the game against Maryland. in an 8-6 loss, but that's not a good start for Nate Haberthier. 10 hits. Well, he's well through 3 2/3 here today. He's through 4 even. Head into the 5th inning here. Jack Vandermortel will get things started for the Wolverines. He's got a solo shot. There's ball number 1. Fastball misses low. Hit his first home run on the season and his 10th overall RBI, and you figure he'd probably have a couple more if not for that injury that occurred in early March. Bouncing ball, foul left side, softly.
Vandermortel. Was that his first shot of the season?
Yep. First home run.
And it was a blast, too. It could have gone
Dead
another
center.
20 feet. Hit the batter's eye.
1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch to Vandermortel. That one's a strike. Fastball just hovered over the zone and just landed in there. Nice framework by Brookman behind the dish. 1-2. I'm telling you, Vandermortel's average is just creeping up more and more every time he heads to the plate, and that won't help it. Strike number 3. He went golfing much like the Flores at bat. There's out number 1 in the Michigan 5th.
Velazquez has a 333 batting average. Has a blast. I believe that was like the 2nd or 3rd game of the season he got
Maryland.
that one. Yeah.
Looks at ball number 1 outside. That was a non-conference matchup against Maryland. Michigan, they've gone through a lot so far this year. So Eric Backage, he does make the schedule, and it's been a tough one at that. The 1-0 misses low and inside. They started down in Arlington. They had 1 win in 3 games there. They lost on a walk-off to Texas Tech in the first overall game of the year. Also lost to Oklahoma 6-1. Foul ball from Velazquez, 2-1 now. And then they stayed in Arlington for 1 more, beat UT Arlington to go in 2-2. Then they made a trip over to Florida for 5 games, and they won 4 of 5 there against, we'd say, less superior opponents. Seton Hall, FIU, and Florida Atlantic. They won 1 of those games by a score of 20-13. 2-1 misses outside. Velazquez ahead 3-1 now. And the Keith LeClaire Classic is really where they started to pick up the teams they were playing against. A non-conference victory against Maryland.
Which probably hurts them because they could have used that dub in the Big Ten standings.
Right. 3-1 fouled back to the screen as well. They dropped games to East Carolina and Indiana State, and then the tough skid of Louisville and Vanderbilt back-to-back.
They almost had a shot at winning at Vanderbilt, just unable to finish that one.
Vanderbilt walked them off as well. Number 4 overall team in the country. Vanderbilt is just one heck of a ball club. The 3-2. Little bouncer back towards the pitcher. Haberthier plays it on 1 bounce and out at first base is Joey Velazquez for the 2nd gone in the inning.
Velazquez were a little bit faster, might have been safe on that one. But those are the type of plays where you sometimes could get an infield single out of. You chop it hard into the dirt, gets enough airtime where you could beat it out. But not meant to be for Velazquez on that one.
Clark Elliott is 2 for 2 with 2 singles. He's now 8 of his last 16. And that is exactly why his average is 366. I mean, you've got to be kidding. First pitch, misses high and outside. And I mean, a dangerous hitter in all senses. He's got speed, he's got legitimacy at the plate. 7 homers, got the power. But most importantly, he's got discipline as he looks at ball number 2 just off the plate inside. Here is the 2-0 to Clark Elliott. He lifts it in the left, but this is playable. Shortstop Ernst coming on and almost colliding in left with the left fielder Lipsy, but that's a 1-2-3 inning. Clark Elliott retired for the first time today. It's a 6-3 lead for Ohio State. We're through 5 with, well, only shades of rain here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, so it will be a legal game now. That Michigan and Ohio State each got 5 chances up to the plate. For Michigan, they probably don't want it to be called quite yet. They're going to hurry as fast as they can, get 4 runs, and then start to drag their feet. But at the speed that this game is going, they very might get all 9 in before the worst of the rain comes in. Supposed to come in at like 3:30 or 4 is when it's forecasted to pick up.
The 3 o'clock now shows a lot of rain, and then following that, we're clear for 2 hours. And then the rain is supposed to pick up again towards 6 o'clock. So I'd say it's likely that we end up getting through this ball game. It's a 6-3 lead for Ohio State. I mean, we might as well just recap this one. A quick first inning for Ohio State, and then second inning led off with a Kate Kern solo shot. They then got 4 more on 4 more hits, and then they got another solo shot in the 5th. Michigan 2 solo shots in the second inning, and then got 1 more run to come around in the 3rd, thanks to Joe Stort's just great base running. And that's how we get to 6-3. We still have the same pitcher on the hill for Michigan. It's Connor O'Halloran. I mentioned 116 pitches last Friday. He had his innings as well against Michigan State, although Michigan dominated in that win. Only sitting at 81 right now. He's only thrown 20 pitches over the last 2 innings.
And we got O'Halloran out for his 6th frame. Got things under control after that nasty second.
First pitch to Colton Bauer misses low and outside. Ball number 1. Bauer a walk and a line out so far today. The 1-0. Breaking ball just lands right at the knees of Bauer, called for strike number 1. Bauer, feet a little offset, pumping that left foot up and down. The 1-1. Another breaking ball backdoor, called for strike number 2. And that breaking ball has been on and off a little bit today for O'Halloran, sometimes not getting the spin that he would like. Here is the 1-2. Another breaking ball backdoor, strike 3, got him looking. Strikeout number 4 for Connor on the day.
I think 5th, right?
4. 5. Thanks, Adam. 1 out for Brent Totis. Little chopper foul as O'Halloran was in quick pursuit of it. Noah Renard is back to the bullpen for Michigan. You figure if this inning isn't too long for Connor O'Halloran, he may make an appearance in the 7th. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball backdoor, called for a strike. It's working for him right now, and I mean, if it continues to work through the 6th, why not use him for another?
He's at 85 pitches. Not too much compared to last Friday.
The 0-2 fouled out of play back towards the parking lot. Softball ready to mix it up out in left center field at Alumni Field. The 0-2 from O'Halloran. Another foul back towards the lot. And he is just pounding strikes into the strike zone for Michigan. He has walked 2, but he's thrown 56 strikes on 85 total pitches. 2 strikeouts. O'Halloran throws in a foul ball. Totis, is 1 of 2. Had a single and flew out in his last at-bat. On deck, Drew Reckart is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, both staring at him. The 0-2 for a 3rd time from Connor O'Halloran. Fouled back to the screen. We'll do it a 4th.
Totis really staying in there. Making the most of this at bat, even with 0 balls.
The 0-2, ground ball left side towards Fry. Plays it on a backhand, throws over to first. Beautiful arm from Matt Fry.
He makes it look so easy from the hot corner.
I'll tell you what, it's not. That is a long throw, and he fielded that deep in his position as well. Here's Drew Reckart. Mentioned briefly a moment ago, 2 strikeouts, both of the looking variety. 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth. With 2 outs here in the 6th, O'Halloran misses outside with ball number 1 on a fastball. Reckart will settle back in. O'Halloran still dealing from the windup. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did.
Took some time from the
It crossed me up because the Obertop pointed down to first base, and David Ull, the home plate umpire, pointed down to third base, and we finally got a call, 1-1. Breaking ball is fouled back towards the screen. Obertop pointing out towards O'Halloran, saying, nice pitch, and it's 1-2.
I have a feeling if he gets out of the inning here, we might see some of the 7th. He's back in his groove, but he's still on pace for the loss.
1-2, misses above the strike zone, 89 miles an hour. These 2 pitchers, Haberthier and O'Halloran, kind of sitting around the same velocity. The 2-2. Breaking ball that is fouled away.
Another car probably got damaged on that one.
No fine detailing today. Two balls and 2 strikes. 6-3 Ohio State.
Looking to get out of his slump, too.
2-2 just off the plate. Ball number 3, O'Halloran was a couple of steps towards the dugout. Went with the changeup and just missed outside. Here is the 3-2 from O'Halloran. Line drive into center, that'll get down, sending Stewart over in the chase. He gets there quickly, and that is now 1 of 3 on the day for Drew Reckart.
And that makes it 2 of the last 18 for him.
Yep, breaking out of that slump a little bit.
Slightly.
Here is Mitchell Oakley now. He is 2 for 2. Ended up being caught stealing in the 4th on a strike him out, throw him out. Eight hits for Ohio State now in the day. They've plated 6 runs, 1 error on both teams. Michigan 3 runs on 4 hits. O'Halloran misses off the plate. 1-0 to Oakley.
This bottom of the lineup's been pretty good today between Brookman and Oakley. They're 3 for 4 with 2 runs.
O'Halloran delivers home and called for a ball just a bit low.
That looked good to me.
O'Halloran has a couple of words for either Jimmy Obertop or David Ull. He will step back onto the rubber. That looked like a good pitch, squared right in the middle at the bottom of the strike zone. There's ball number 3. That one not close. Slider that just missed terribly outside. And 3-0, checks over towards the runner at first base, and Reckart back in standing up. Three balls, no strikes to Oakley. Green light? No, sir. Strike number 1.
And that was the type of pitch you could send into orbit if he had the green light.
Just
hanging
an 86 mile an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a changeup or the fastball, but he had to slow it down because he's just not close to the strike zone. And there's ball number 4. Obertop sticks it for an extra moment. And O'Halloran, he is unhappy with the home plate umpire David Uhl right now.
And I think the inability to get out of the inning there might finish the day for him after this. With doubt we see him come out for the 7th inning after racking up over 100 pitch counts. And I guess we might be done with him now.
Eric Bakich making his way out to the mound, and every time Eric Bakich is out there, it's either he's angry or he's making a pitching change, and I'm figuring pitching change will more than likely be the decision here.
Yeah, I thought they would give him at least this inning because he's looked decent, but they already changed it on the scoreboard. Renard coming in.
Well, they're going to have to change it back because O'Halloran just talked.
Wow, you sometimes see that.
Eric Bakich out of doing it, and immediately I noticed when Bakich went out, as he crossed the third baseline, O'Halloran took a couple of steps towards Eric Bakich, put his glove in front of his face, and I'm sure a lot of this was, let me finish this inning. This is on me.
Yeah, my guy's on base. Let me get out of this at least. This is a 9-hitter, too. I know he's had a good day so far, but if he can't get out of this, maybe then you pull him.
1-2.
That's rare, though, where you see a pitcher talk his way into another batter.
Right.
Usually when, especially the skipper comes on out, the decision has been made.
O'Halloran missed with the first pitch. He's ready for the second.
And it still says Renard on the scoreboard. I love it.
Swung on and missed. A nice breaking ball, slowed down just a tad compared to others. 78-mile-an-hour bender in there for a strike, 1-1. O'Halloran stares in, count even at ones. Facing off against the catcher, Archer Brookman. Breaking ball in there, and it's a ground ball towards the second baseman, Burton, and Bertram will step on second base in a well-done performance to end the inning, at least by Connor O'Halloran.
So I guess it paid off.
Right.
Having him stick in, he gets that complete 6 full with 6 earned runs, or all the runs earned? I believe so. Only 5 of them are earned. Okay. So 6 innings, 5 earned runs, and a total of 107 pitches.
You know, I had this conversation with my father the other day, actually, and the conversation was about earned runs when it pertains to errors on the pitcher.
Yeah.
Because you'd figure if the error is on the pitcher, it should still be an earned run.
That's
but
a
it comes
fair
in
point.
at unearned.
That's very interesting, too, because, I don't know. On one hand, I agree if it's the pitcher's fault, but you kind of want to separate the pitcher's defensive and pitching stats. The guy could be lights out pitching, but just have a very terrible glove on his hand, and you still would take that into account by looking at his fielding percentage, but I feel like those should be separate and isolated. I don't know. I'd entertain arguments both ways.
Haberthier will be back out to the mound for Ohio State. He's only thrown 68 pitches through 5 innings.
That's impressive. 68 through 5, especially giving up 3, but I guess those were all blasts. It wasn't like Michigan chipping away. Michigan has half of the amount of hits as Ohio State.
He's only throwing 13 pitches an inning.
Rain is still holding off for now, knock on wood, but they do have enough to end this game if needed. Kind of surprised the game's gone so quickly with this being on BTN. They usually like to take their commercial breaks.
We do have a young woman down there right behind home plate telling the home plate umpire, David Ewell, that it's okay to continue on. We've seen plenty of pauses. Joe Stewart to lead things off for Michigan, 2, 3, and 4. And Ohio State, softball-wise, maybe starting off the game a lot like the baseball team with the home run.
Yeah.
First pitch to Joe Stewart, popped up down the right field line and well foul.
And that was a thud. Call Geico on that one.
I looked over at you immediately after I heard the thump. I didn't even see it land on the car, but that is a tough luck situation for whoever parked there. The 0-1
It's not luck. You should know not to park there.
Right.
Or you should know the risks if you park there.
No balls, 2 strikes to Joe Stewart. 329 average. Fielder's choice in his last at-bat. The 0-2 swung on and missed in the dirt. Stewart will run down to first, but Archer Brookman will throw over to first base. And that is a strikeout for Haberthier, number 4 on the day.
On second baseman, number 3, Ted Burton.
Ted Burton now for Michigan. He's 0 for 2 today. Does have an RBI ground out. Swung on and missed first pitch. Fastball on the outside half. Struck out, and then a ground out to the third baseman, which scored Joe Stewart. Sitting here at 6-3, Ohio State, bottom of the 6th inning with 1 out. The 0-1. Ooh, a nice slider that this is just outside. Haberthier about probably a full ball's width off the plate. Good pitch, though. Nice framework by Brookman behind the dish. Here is the 1-1. Line down the right field line, but arcing foul.
From the crack of the bat, I thought that had enough, but it just kept drifting and drifting down the right field line.
No walks on the day today for Haberthier. Last game without a walk was only a 1-inning performance against Toledo on March 30th. 2-2, ball misses outside. Only has 2 starts this season in which he did not walk a batter. That was his first one against Indiana State. Then a second against UNC Wilmington. Ooh. Foul ball off the foot of Ted Burton.
Ooh. That's gonna sting. Could hear that from up here. He just lined it straight into his foot.
I think maybe it was a shin guard making all that noise. 2-2 incoming from Haberthier. Fouled away again. Haberthier from the belt. Stares down at Ted Burton from the middle of the rubber. Long stare in, and Burton finally calls for time. Ohio State in the scarlet red uniforms. Ohio State script in gray across. 2-2 coming. Line drive into center field that sends Kern over, and he will not be able to make the catch. Burton will round first, and he'll head into second, and he will stop there. It's a double with 1 out here in the 6th inning for Michigan and Ted Burton.
That's the spark Michigan needed. Kern could have made a play at it, just hit a bad read on it. Inefficient route.
Well, here is Matt Fry now for Michigan. He's 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts. Both very softly hit, one to the pitcher, one to the first baseman. What a beautiful swing by Ted Burton. Goes opposite field into right center. Heads out there with a double. Here comes the pitching coach for Ohio State, as they do have an arm getting up and getting loose. But so far for Haberthier, it's been a really good performance. He's sitting at 78 pitches thrown through 5 whole innings and 1 out. Rain starting to sprinkle down again. As Matt Fry is about to head to the plate. Jimmy Overtop will be on deck. 2 guys that know how to hit the ball with power and could potentially leave the park if need be. Figured Connor O'Halloran's day for Michigan will more than likely be done, as Noah Renard has gone through multiple different warm-ups now in the Michigan bullpen. The mound visit is adjourned, and Matt Fry will head into the left-handed batter's box. 0 for 2, 270 average on the day, or excuse me, on the season. 0 for 2 on the day. Haberthier, for the first time in 3 innings, will have to work out of the stretch. Stares in, holds the ball down towards the hip, then comes set at the belt. Stares in towards Matt Fry, takes a couple of extra steps towards home. Stares down at Burton and delivers home for ball number 1, just off the plate. That's a nice pitch, though, from Haberthier. One ball, no strikes. Haberthier stares in. Looks at Fry, looks at Burton, looks back at Fry and delivers home for strike number 1. Nice pitch, low down the fastball just a tad, and we're even now at 1-1. Fry had his 6-game hit streak snapped on Sunday. Overall went 5 of 12 over the series against Michigan State. Tabbed 5 RBIs towards his 29 total on the season. Breaking ball misses well inside, 2-1. Fry steps back into the box. Medium wide stance, holds the gloves out in front of the letters in the all-white uniforms for Michigan. Will now relax his stance a little bit for Haberthier's 2-1. Ground ball towards the right side, and that will be the third unassisted ground ball off the bat of Matt Fry today. And that'll leave things for Jimmy Obertop. Back-to-back groundouts, the first baseman for Matt Fry, and you just hope Jimmy Obertop can get this run in and make it a 2-run ball game.
Potentially a 1-run ball game, too. Obertop already has some experience with that earlier this game in the 2nd inning. Home run, and this might be it for the pitcher.
Here comes Greg Beals, and this will be a change. And Ohio State will be going to the bullpen. We'll meet a new arm when we come back here on WCBN Ann Arbor, and it's a 6-3 Ohio State lead over the Wolverines from Ray Fisher Stadium here in Ann Arbor. We welcome you back into a 6-3 ball game here in Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. A new arm on the hill for Ohio State is Jake Johnson, the 5'11", 200-pound freshman from Medina, Ohio on the year. A 3 even ERA, a 2-2 record, 24 innings pitched, 19 hits, 8 earned runs. He's walked 7 but struck out 27. But extra base hits is an issue for Johnson. 3 doubles allowed, 2 triples, and 3 homers on the season. Jimmy Obertop's got plenty of power. He'll be the first Michigan bat that he sees. And Obertop, he's 1 for 2 today with a home run and a sharp ground ball. And he will inherit a runner on third base. Ted Burton after his 1-out double.
Yep.
Poor Noah Renard is back up and throwing again.
We got a fun connection between Michigan coach, or OSU coach Beals, and the Michigan Athletic Department. His daughter is actually a volleyball player at Michigan, so a little bit of a in-house rivalry there between the OSU
How do you
skipper.
think that talk went over?
I don't know, but when you have an opportunity to play D1 volleyball, you take the opportunities you could get. He gets it. He himself was a D1 player at Kent State, so an Ohio collegiate native, and then now managing at Ohio State.
Johnson's first pitch swung on and missed by Obertop. A slower changeup from Johnson at 82. Only stands at 5'10". Stocky Johnson, though. He's ahead 0-1 to Jimmy Obertop. Holds the glove at the hip. Comes set. Glove now at the chin. The 0-1. Missed well outside. A big grunt when he comes home as well. Fastball at 90. That's the exact pitch that Obertop took out to right field earlier in this game. About a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Haberthier. The 1-1. That ball misses just a bit low to Jimmy as he knocks off the, I was going to say dirt, but the turf grass off his cleats.
Sometimes
step back into the 2-1.
Some of that, some of the pellets, I suppose, the rubber.
2 balls, 1 strike to Jimmy Obertop. Johnson will deliver home a long leg kick delivery, and the ball scoots through the legs of Brookman at home plate, and the umpire playing soccer with it will kick it around. Brookman will finally retrieve it. Home plate umpire David Ull just motioned with his hands that he was kicking it back and forth, and that's exactly what he was doing. Michigan has no walks offensively on the day. 3-1 count to Jimmy Obertop, and that just tells you more and more about how well Haberthier pitched in this game.
The rain has stopped for now, but it's been off and on the past couple of innings.
3 balls, 1 strike. Runner at third base in Burton. 6-3 ball game. Jake Johnson to deliver the 3-1. Fouled right off the mask of Brookman. He looks to be all right. Full count now to Jimmy Obertop. 1 for 2, solo shot. Now 5 of his last 15. Johnson pauses, holds the glove at the head. Burton scampers home, but now will return the 3-2, fouled away.
Staying alive here with a full count. Obertop just anything to land. Guess with 2 outs, you need a hit to secure the run, but that would be huge to bring it back within 2 after OSU got that extra run in the 5th.
Here is the 3-2 pitch again from Jake Johnson. And he got him on the outside corner. Strike 3, a fastball, and Johnson pumps his chest as he heads back into the dugout.
He could have driven that one forward too, and he knows it.
Well, Ohio State will take a 6-3 lead into the last third of this ball game. Noah Renard will take over for Michigan. Just a double, 1 hit for Michigan in the inning, but they will leave Ted Burton on base. Michigan, they've only left 2 on base in this game, so well, they've converted on their chances as they have 3 runs but 2 left on base. And Ohio State will take a 6-3 lead into the 7th.
I'm hearing they just canceled the kids run the bases after the game. Oh wait, no they didn't. Never mind. I thought I read that they did. They said it still will happen unless there's rain. But I'm hearing bad things about today's Tigers game.
Shush.
I don't want to bring anything into light, but it might not happen this afternoon. Big news in Comerica. Slugger Miguel Cabrera looking to break 3,000 for the hits. He's just 1 away after a huge game Wednesday night against the New York Yankees.
What do you make of what happened last night with the intentional walk?
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm Red Sox, live and die. So I have another reason to hate the New York Yankees because of that. And another reason to hate Aaron Boone, too. And I'm no shortage of reasons to hate him.
Michigan will have a new arm on the hill for the first time as Connor O'Halloran's day is done. 6'3", 205-pounder from Santa Rosa, California. It's Noah Renard, and he has been nothing short but spectacular this season. 3-1 record. He does have 3 saves to his name. 37 2/3 innings pitched, 42 hits, 12 earned runs, walked 11, but he has struck out 47 batters on the year. 2.87 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, and he will face off against 1, 2, and 3 for Ohio State. So they went 3 times fully around the order against O'Halloran, and now Renard will take over, and he throws strike 1 on the outside corner, much to the dislike of Marcus Ernst. Here is the 1-0, the 0-1. That one's driven into right field. That one is going to be gone.
Not a good start of the day for Renard. 104 exit velocity. That one just keeps sailing over the fence.
Home run number 3 on the day for Ohio State. It's now a 7-3 lead. And the leadoff man, Marcus Ernst, gets it done.
The first baseman, number 4, Zach DeZenzo.
Here is DeZenzo. He's got a homer in his last at-bat. He looks at ball number 1. The 1-0, big swing and a miss.
Count out trying to match that home run with one of his own. Michigan down by 4 now, making this comeback even more difficult and daunting.
The 1-1, fouled back to the screen. Ohio State looking to improve to 3-8 in Big Ten play. They're currently at 2-8 and 12-21 overall. Anything can happen in the game of baseball. 1-2 from Renard. Fouled up and out of play. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to DeZenzo. Line drive center field, and that will get down in front of a charging Joe Stewart.
2 batters, 2 hits against Renard. Curious how quickly Michigan gets another arm loose in the bullpen, especially if this is only the 7th.
Here comes Trey Lipsy now. 0-for-2 with one of the 3 Ohio State walks. Renard comes set at the belt, just above, and delivers home. A bunt left side, goes back towards the Michigan dugout. And that's brave in the 3 spot that Lipsy is very willing to lay down a bunt. Seems like anywhere in the order for Greg Beals.
Yeah.
Ohio State's willing to do whatever they can to get runs across the board and put runners in scoring position for perhaps another bat. There's ball 1 below the zone, 1-1.
That is gutsy to lay down a bunt with no outs against a pitcher with 2 straight hits given up against him. But I don't know. There's a reason why I'm not a NCAA manager. I'm just up in the booth.
1 ball, 1 strike. Renard's pitch back towards the screen. It's now 1-2. Exact count that DeZenzo saw before he laced one into center. One ball, 2 strikes to Lipsy. Renard comes set, stares in. Doesn't even take a look over to first and fouls one away into the OSU dugout. Cade Kern is on deck. He homered in his first at-bat. Renard looking for the first out of the 7th. Popped up left side, and that'll get out of play.
Just can't seem to find in between the base paths in this one.
Lipsy, who is 0-for-2, ready for the 1-2. Decent lead over at first for DeZenzo. And this one is a big swing down the right field line, but that will just curve foul. 1-2.
This at bat just keeps on giving.
Renard is set, comes home, and misses with ball number 2, just below the zone. Man, oh man. Perhaps the changeup again from Renard at 82. Here is the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball right side, softly foul. Two balls and 2 strikes to Trey Lipsy.
Had one of the pitching coaches in the OSU pen leap the fence and get that foul ball out of play.
Renard's 2-2. Popped up left side, and Velasquez will have to charge on it. He'll make a catch in shallow left, relay the ball in, and one gone. A long at bat for Trey Lipsy, and he is retired with an out.
He really made Renard fight for that one, as we have one out here in the top of the 7th.
Cade Kern got the fireworks started in the 2nd inning with a leadoff home run. He'll pop one out of play for strike number 1.
That might hit a car, too. Judging by the crowd, I think it did hit a car. Ooh, a car in motion, too. That's impressive.
That's an extra point. The 0-1, that one's popped out of play towards the OSU dugout. How about another one?
Just barely missed it on the fly. Hits one on the bounce, but it's not too
This
bad.
is my favorite play-by-play.
Yeah.
Maybe the next one that goes down there, I'll make you do it if you can see well.
I have a sideline reporter from the parking lot.
The 0-2 from Renard to Cade Kern. Long stare delivers. Ball 1 just below the zone. Kern bent his knees quite a bit, tailing down towards that ball. 1-2 now from Noah Renard. Comes set, stares in, delivers the 1-2. Popped up out of play. Here you go, Adam.
It's up in the air, falling fast, and just barely misses a Hyundai. Without any damage there, he'll live to get hit another day.
7-3 Ohio State. 1-2 pitch. Let's do it again for Cade Kern. Swung on and missed. Overtop tried to back pick over to first base, but decided not to unleash it.
So it took some time for Renard, but he's finally in a groove. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Gave up 1 blast and a hit right after that, but settled down to get 2 well-deserved outs. Both of them took some time, too.
Here is Colton Bauer. He's 0 for 2. He walked in his first plate appearance. Renard delivers home, and a weird sword-like swing from Bauer for strike number 1. 7-3 Ohio State. They got a solo shot to begin this first inning off the new arm Noah Renard. Marcus Ernst went yard. In opposite field at that. Ball number 1 outside to Bauer. I mean, how impressive was that? A straight line drive home run to right field. Cleared the fence over the head of Clark Elliott, who was shading towards left. The 1-1.
Now, Renard, he has a
Missed.
pretty impressive 3.05 ERA on the season.
Two balls and 1 strike to Bauer. Breaking ball, big swing and a miss. He wasn't anywhere close to that pitch. 76 miles an hour from Noah Renard. Evens up the count at 2-2. Michigan just looking to get their bats back to the plate. Here's the 2-2. In the dirt, down to grab it is Obertopped. Three balls and 2 strikes. Expect the runner over at first base, DeZenzo, to be moving with 2 outs here in the 7th. Runner does go, swung on, missed. Strikeout number 2 for Noah Renard. And he gets the final 2 by way of strikeout. Michigan trails by 1 extra run than they entered in the 7th with. It's 7-3 Ohio State as we head to the 7th inning stretch here in Ann Arbor.
During this 7th inning stretch, I'm going to get a quick update from across the field over to the softball game happening right now. It's Michigan versus Ohio State. So playing together in baseball and softball today. Michigan is trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. However, they have a base runner on already with no outs, so maybe they'll be able to tie that one up. They have ace Alex Storako pitching. She's been great in her college career, but a little bit less than she has been this season. Hoping to bounce back from that as Michigan goes into the end of their season for softball. Softball season, regular season, ends 3 weeks ahead of baseball. We got the championship in East Lansing for the Big Ten tournament. WCBN's going to try and send a crew to cover that one, which should be fun.
Jake Johnson back out to work for Ohio State. He'll face off against 6, 7, and 8 for Michigan. And that's Tito Flores to get things started for the Wolverines. Not a great start for Flores today. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Michigan's got to get something going here soon if they want to start off this series with a victory over their arch rival.
And keep their Big Ten momentum going after that series sweep last weekend.
Johnson comes set right next to the chin. Stares in the Tito Flores and will deliver. Well inside, Flores backs out of the way for ball 1. (1-0) to Tito Flores, who taps softly on the far side of the plate to measure his bat out. And here is the 1-0. Lifted into right center field. That'll send Kern all the way back. That'll get to the wall off the glove of Kern. Flores to second base, and he will stop there.
He could have rounded the second if he was gunning for it. Still an extra base hit for him. He celebrates too on second.
Nice swing of the bat from Tito, and that's double number 12 on the season for Flores. Final line on the game for Nate Haberthier, the Ohio State starter. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, only 2 of them earned. The 1 error was against him. 4 strikeouts, but he did not walk anybody. Here's Riley Bertram facing off against Jake Johnson.
Props to center fielder for getting under it. He was unable to grab it, but he did get some range.
First pitch to Bertram misses outside, and the Wolverines need his glove, but they love his bat to start to wake up in the order. 263 average. 1 of 13 against Michigan State. He's now 1 of 15 if you include today's 2 AVs. That 1 hit being a double, and the Wolverines would love an extra base knock here as he looks at strike number 1, 1-1. Wolverine lefty facing off against the right-handed tosser Johnson.
Would be huge if Michigan's able to get some runs of their own in the bottom of the 7th after that 1-run shot to lead off the top of the inning.
The 1-1, Johnson will raise that left leg and look over towards second base. And will return to the rubber for the 1-1. Besides the second inning, lots of just ones on the board. 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, but 7 total runs scored in the second inning. The 1-1 misses outside. Ohio State leads us 7-3, but scored 5 runs in the second inning, all against Connor O'Halloran. It was a tough start for Connor, but he truly settled in. He ended up allowing 6 runs, 5 of them being earned.
He had a full 6 innings pitch too, so didn't shorten his outing by any bit either.
The 2-1 to Riley Bertram from Johnson. Misses high and outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. In Michigan with no outs here in the 7th inning. If Bertram were to get aboard, would see Jack Vandermortel, who's homered on the day. Vandermortel on deck. In the hole is Joey Velasquez.
Velasquez would be the tying run too. Michigan's down by 4, but it's not insurmountable.
Here is the 3-1 to Riley Bertram. Ball 4 outside. Michigan perhaps in business here in the 7th.
2 outs, 2 on is definitely where they want to be.
The first walk for Wolverine batters here today. Haberthier was perfect by not walking anybody. And the walk is on the arm of Jake Johnson, his 8th walk of the season allowed. Riley Bertram on base, good to see for him. You'd do anything if you were Michigan to get Clark Elliott into that box here in this inning with runners on board. They trailed it by 4, 7-3 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Vanner Mortal has runners on first and second. First pitch from Johnson. This one's lifted in the left center. That one's going to get down. Flores, he'll come around to score. Here comes Bertram. Bertram will get the wave around third. He will score. Vanner Mortal standing up at second base, and Michigan is right back in this thing.
And that's huge off the relief arm of Johnson. Michigan already with 2 earned runs. And there's no outs here to the bottom of the 7th, and quickly it becomes a 2-run ball game again.
Well, how about this opportunity for Joey Velasquez? He presents the tying run against a team he once committed to, decommitted, came to Michigan, and is a native of Columbus, Ohio. And here comes the pitching coach for Ohio State.
You think they make a substitution already? They got 2 arms up and warm.
Not fully sure what the decision will be here. Usually when it's a change, it would be the head coach, and also Ohio State's other infielders would be surrounded around the mound. They're currently sitting behind second base talking over what's going on. Michigan's going to take a coach's timeout. That's RBIs number 2 and 3 on the day for Jack Vanner Mortal. Now his 12th RBI on the season, and they will stick with Jake Johnson against Joey Velasquez, who has a couple of big hits in his time as a Wolverine.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Vanner Mortal, he's halfway to a cycle. All he needs is the triple and the single. Guess this late in the game that might be tough to pull off, but not if Michigan cracks this one open. 7 hits on the day for the Wolverine.
Velasquez has 1 homer on the season, and it was enough to come from behind and beat Maryland. First pitch to him, big swing and a miss.
He's trying to match up the 2 doubles we've had this season.
Just that 1 home run across the career for Joey Velasquez. He's 0 for 2 today. Runner at second base is Vanner Mortal. Shading second is Ernst. And the fly ball will fly foul. And I mean, I mentioned it, Adam, pretty much no matter what, well, no matter what at all now, Clark Elliott will get to the plate. And unless there's some kind of blunder on the base paths for Michigan, Elliott will present the tying run at home plate if Velasquez does not get the job done. He's behind 0-2. Johnson comes set. Holds the glove at the chin. Will stare in at Velasquez. Won't take a look towards second. Deliver home. Line drive left side. That's past the diving third baseman Bauer. And Joey Velasquez comes through, runners on the corners. The throw goes into home plate. And here comes big Clark Elliott.
No outs here, too. Anything into the outfield's got to score a run. He's the go-ahead run, too, if he's able to pop one over the fence.
And this is the matchup that Clark Elliott wants too. He has not yet faced off against the righty.
You think they're planning on?
And here he comes.
Yeah, not surprised.
So Jake Johnson will depart the game after quite the emotional exit. In the 6th inning, Michigan's put up a 2 spot here in the 7th with no outs. We'll take a quick break, and we will be back to present the new arm for Ohio State here on WCBN. Ohio State's got a new arm on the hill, and it is TJ Brock, the 6'1", 200-pound, hard-throwing right-handed senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, and IMG Academy. He'll have to face off against the best bat for the Wolverines and the #1 prospect in the MLB draft in the Big Ten, according to D1 Baseball. Clark Elliott, who is 2 of 3, he singled twice in his first 2 ABs, and then he popped out in the 5th. But he's got 2 runners aboard right now in a 7-5 ball game, tying run over at first. Clark is the go-ahead run. First ball will skip away, and the runner, Joey Velasquez, will head towards second base. Vander Mortel had to stay put at third because of the direction that it bounced, and that's not a good start for TJ Brock.
That's huge, too, to get Velasquez off first. Takes away the double play opportunity and makes it a lot easier to get a run in as well.
0-2 record, 4.61 ERA, a 1.54 whip. He does have 2 saves on the season, over 13 2/3 innings pitched, 12 hits allowed, 7 earned runs, walked 8, and struck out 17. Only allowed 1 homer. Clark Elliott could change it with 1 swing of the bat, checked his swing, but it was called strike no matter what. 1-1.
Those pitches are getting up into the mid-90s. Last one was 94.48, according to the radar gun behind home plate.
1 ball, 1 strike to Clark Elliott. Brock delivers. Popped up left side. Will it get out of play? Giving chase is the third baseman Bauer, and it's in play, but they just missed it. The Bermuda Triangle of Bauer, Ernst, and Lipsy. Left fielder, third baseman, and shortstop could not converge to make the grab.
That was probably a high IQ drop, because if you catch that, the guy could run, and he more likely than not, I know it was down the third base line, but he probably would have scored on that.
One ball, 2 strikes. Clark Elliott stays alive with that swing. Waves once, twice, now 3 times towards Brock. Has yet to raise the bat as Brock finally comes set at the belt. Now raises the glove a little bit above and delivers home ball number 2. Nice discipline by Clark Elliott.
And that pitch was just far outside, too. If you would have swung, that would have been quite disappointing. But it did reach 95. He's getting the velocity from Brock. Just unable to find the zone.
Brock works middle of the rubber, tucks that glove beneath his left shoulder. The 2-2. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3 to Clark Elliott. And that is a big-time strikeout for OSU pitching. And here's Joe Stewart.
Center fielder number 5, Joe Stewart.
That's nice pitching by TJ Brock. But it doesn't get much easier as Joe Stewart's been very hot as well lately. 327 bat. Led Michigan State in 2021 in extra base hits, and an extra base hit here would almost certainly tie the game. Velasquez plenty of speed at second. Vander Mortel scores on anything in the outfield or in the air.
That was the
strike
pitch.
1.
He wishes he had that one back. 88 mile per hour right down the pipe.
Plenty of appearances on the season for TJ Brock, all in pretty much close games. Here is the 0-1. Bouncing ball, left side, foul. Well beyond the third base line, and it's 0-2 now. Ted Burton, who doubled in the 6th inning, is on deck. We're here in the bottom of the 7th inning, 7-5 Ohio State. Runners on second and third base. Michigan's already plated 2 in this inning. Tito Flores led off with a double. Bertram walked. Vander Mortel then doubled home both runs. Velasquez singled, and Clark Elliott struck out for the first out. Here's the 0-2 to Joe Stewart. That one's inside, just off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Joe.
You could really feel the tension in the air here. Might be Michigan's best chance at tying this one up, especially with 2 on and no outs. If they aren't able to at least get one of those guys in, it'll be a disappointment.
The 1-2 to Stewart. Oh, man, he wanted to take. That would have been strike 3, but he fouled it off at the last possible second. Looks back towards his dugout, takes a deep breath, and settles back in for the 1-2.
Yeah, Stewart, he's 0 for 3 on the day, but on the season, pretty great, batting .227, including 5 home runs and 24 RBIs. Definitely hoping to add to that right now.
Brock into his set. Here's the 1-2 to Joe Stewart. Popped up right side. Is there enough room for DeZenzo? And he runs out of room by just a few inches. He ran into the net, and if the net's not there, he may be able to extend and make that grab. Nonetheless, went over the net, and will stick around at 1-2.
Yeah, and that's the same thing I mentioned earlier. If he grabs that, you need to have good awareness to quickly get it in. Otherwise, you risk surrendering a run on the tag up.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe Stewart waves the bat towards the pitcher, TJ Brock. Comes set at the belt, stares in at Stewart, and delivers. Lifted into center field. This may not be deep enough as Ernst is under it. Now the center fielder, Kern, is under it, and Vander Mortel will have to stay at third.
That's a painful opportunity to watch. Now 2 outs here. Michigan needs a hit to get a run in. Thought on the tip that should be enough, but it just kept drifting in and in and in. And now we're up with 2 outs as Burden comes to the plate. Has a double in the 6th inning, but has a strikeout and a ground out in addition to that. Does have an RBI today, though, on the ground out.
Runners moving on any contact. Burton with that sharp double in the 6th. One for 3 on the day, Adam. You just mentioned the first pitch to Burton is in there for a strike.
I think that's the fastest of the day. Came in at 96.
Brock still tucking that glove into his left armpit. That's that right arm hang. Ball still in the glove. Then he comes set for the 0-1. Popped up, and that will get out of play. Back behind the broadcast booth. And he is once again ahead of the batter. It's 0-2. I would assume Michigan is going to stick with Noah Renard in the 8th. The Wolverines have put up 2 runs here in the 7th inning, but they've had runners on second and third base with no outs. Elliott struck out, Stewart flew out, and now it's 0-2 to Ted Burton against the hard-throwing Brock. The 0-2 swung on and missed.
That's painful to watch as a Michigan fan. Runners on second and third with no outs and unable to bring either of them in. As we go into the top of the 8th, Michigan trails by 2, but at least decrease the deficit a little bit. Incredible outing from Brock out of the pen.
Michigan had left 2 on base from the 1st through 6th innings, and now they just left 1 on in the 7th. And Noah Renard will be back out to work for the Wolverines. How's softball looking out there, Adam?
That is a great question. Let me pull up an update. Last time we checked in, Michigan was trailing by 1 but had a runner on base. Right now, we go into them and they are in the bottom of the 3rd and still trailing by 1. So not much has happened since we last checked in.
Well, Noah Renard, he threw 27 pitches in the 7th inning and allowed 1 run. Of course, you look at it now, and at that point, it was 6-3, allowed 1 run, 7-3 Ohio State. Then Michigan gets 2. And this would only be a 1-run game if not for the solo shot off the bat of the first man Renard faced in Marcus Ernst. But he will now face off against 6, 7, and 8, Totis, Reckart, and Oakley. So Ohio State looking to take the first of a 3-game series here from Ann Arbor, and this being the least beautiful of the 3 days this weekend. We're expecting 81 and sunny tomorrow and 79 and a bit cloudy on Sunday. Today, hovering around 50, 52 degrees with rain in the area. Nothing but rain in the forecast. So, as you mentioned earlier, for those looking to go see Miguel Cabrera's potential 3,000th hit as a Detroit Tiger, good luck fighting through the rain tonight. We're going to have a pinch hitter for Ohio State's Blaine Robinson.
I'm surprised we made it this far into the game without any major rain. Guess the forecast may have been a little bit overhyped. But at this rate, it looks like the teams are going to be able to finish all 9.
Robinson swung on and missed the first pitch. The second is high and outside. Big power hitter, tall lefty, 6'6". Lots of power in the bat of Blaine Robinson. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball right side. Should be an unassisted ground out, but nope, Vandermortel will toss over to Renard for out number 1 of this 8th inning.
The second baseman, number 6, Drew Reckard.
Reckard coming up. He's 2 for 18 in the past couple of at-bats. Had a hit earlier today in the 6th inning to kind of break out of that slump.
First pitch to Reckard is away. 1-0. Renard settles in from the windup, delivers home to Reckard. Big swing and a miss. Struck out looking in his first 2 ABs and singled in the 6th. 1 ball and 1 strike to Drew Reckard. 1-1 just misses inside, and Noah Renard will have to settle back in for the 2-1. We were having a really fast game. Lots of high tempo until that last inning. Breaking ball misses low, 3-1.
I think most of it was just the 2 starting pitchers going so far without many mound visits or anything.
That last inning took what seemed like forever. Big swing and a miss. Breaking ball from Noah Renard. He really sped up the changeup. And now it is a full count. The payoff pitch coming to Drew Reckard. Renard into his windup, delivers home. Ground ball left side, and that will be into the glove of Bertram, who dove down to grab it. But that is a single on a 3-2 pitch from Reckard. He's got singles in his last 2 ABs now.
Right fielder, number 24, Mitchell Oakley.
Oakley comes up. He's 2 for 2 and a walk on the day. Was scored on a single in the 2nd, and he got an RBI too. Who's been around the bases quite a bit.
Oakley will wave the bat towards the pitcher a couple of times. Decent leadoff at first base for Reckard. Delivering home, strike 1 to Oakley. Renard delivers home. Fouled back to the screen. He's ahead 0-2. Position that Renard certainly wants to be in, much like Brock was in that last inning.
No one up in the pen, so at least for now, Renard's expected to finish up this inning.
The 0-2 is popped fouled on the left field line. Oakley, you mentioned 2-2. 2 for 2. He has walked once as well, been on base all 3 times today. And he'll have another 0-2 pitch coming to him from Renard. 7-5 Ohio State here in the top of the 8th inning. Breaking ball misses outside from Renard. Held the changeup a little too long and missed high and out. Renard's feet are exactly even, then comes set, a bit offset. Holds the glove at the belt and delivers home. Bouncing ball right side, foul. And we'll do it again at 1-2. 241 batter, having himself a good day so far, as I mentioned, on base all 3 times. Renard holding that runner with Vandermortel, the first baseman, over at first. And his ball misses inside. It's 2-2. Oakley ready for the 2-2 from Noah Renard. Ball is in the dirt, full count now. Renard after being ahead 0-2. Archer Brookman on deck for Ohio State. Buckeyes need 6 more Wolverine outs to secure game 1 in this series. Renard to come home with the 3-2. Runner goes high, pop up towards the right side. Retreating back to first base goes Reckart. And Elliott will make the grab. Out number 2 in the inning. Here comes Archer Brookman now. Wolverines trailing this game by 2. They're going to have 4, 5, and 6 upcoming. Fry, Obertop, and Flores. So plenty of power in the bats coming to the dish for the Wolverines. The right-hander Brookman ready for Renard's first pitch. Ground ball back towards Renard. It ricochets off him, and that will be an infield single for Ohio State.
If Renard weren't there, it likely would have been an out, too, because we had Burden covering second with Reckard moving on the pitch.
Shortstop number 2.
That'll bring Marcus Ernst to the plate. 354 batter, much like Clark Elliott. Bats lefty, has decent power, lots of RBIs. And I would say makes nothing but contact, but unfortunately Elliott with the strikeout in the bottom of the 7th inning. Renard comes set, delivers home. Breaking ball, strike 1 fouled into the glove of Jimmy Obertop. The runner at second is Reckart. The runner at first is Archer Brookman. 2 singles in the inning for the Buckeyes. The 0-1 from Noah Renard. Called for strike number 2. Ernst turns his head in disagreement. It looked like it was firmly in the strike zone, maybe a bit inside. But no balls and 2 strikes to Marcus Ernst, the Ohio State shortstop. Now 14 multi-hit games. A line drive down the third base line was just inches foul. That easily could have scored at least 1, maybe even 2. The OSU skipper, Greg Beals, 3rd among active Big Ten coaches in wins, 325 career wins as the Buckeye head man. Here's the 0-2. Renard is fouled, and more life for Marcus Ernst. Ernst has reached base in 31 of 34 Ohio State games now on the season. Just has all the qualities of a leadoff man that you want for the Scarlet and Gray and for Greg Beals. The 0-2 just missed off the plate.
That got both bullpens up and loud, or both dugouts. That looked good to me, though. I thought that would have been enough.
Maybe half a ball's width off the plate. 1-2. Renard to Ernst. Breaking ball misses low. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Renard had Oakley down 0-2. He brought the count full to 3-2 before popping out. 2 runners on base, first and second. Ohio State leads it by 2. They have 5 more hits than Michigan. Renard comes home, delivers towards the right side, and it's through. That'll score at least 1 run. Elliott will get the ball in, and stopping at third base is Brookman. Boy, that is a big-time swing from Marcus Ernst to put Ohio State up by 3 now. And you just got to think back to that call that barely missed outside that would have struck out Ernst looking.
Yeah, and that cracks the game back open again. 1 run scoring and keeping the inning alive with DeZinzo up to the plate.
Two outs here in the 8th inning. Obertop will step in front of the plate, signal to his defense with runners on the corners. We've seen plenty of times that the bunt is available for Greg Beals.
That would be tough with 2 outs, though. I don't
Right.
think you would do that then.
Zenzo looks at strike 1 on the inside corner. And home plate umpire David Ull will hear murmurs from the Ann Arbor crowd that that's the same exact spot It was called for a ball in the last at-bat, the 0-1. Line drive left side, but well foul. Right into the netting, down towards the Michigan bullpen. Trey Lipsy looms on deck for Ohio State. DeZenzo is 2 for 4 on the game. He does have a homer. Two outs in the Ohio State 8th. Bernard, here's a fly ball into left center. Flying back, Stort will call off Velasquez, make the catch, and that will end the 8th inning. Ohio State gets 1 in each of the 7th and the 8th off of Noah Renard, but Michigan's got 6 outs to work with to come back by down 3, 8-5.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. Obviously, Michigan would have preferred to get out of there a little bit sooner, but only surrendering 1 after giving up all those base runners is probably a win. We have in the bottom of the 8th, we got Fry, Obertop, Flores. So definitely the part of the lineup you would like to have as a Wolverines fan. The freshman Fry, he's not been too great today. 0 for 3, 3 straight groundouts. 1 to the pitcher unassisted, 1 to first base unassisted, and then another 1 to first base unassisted. We got Brock coming out again, trying to replicate a phenomenal relief appearance.
Well, they actually have a new arm in the game, and this is someone I'm very familiar with. This is Ethan Hammerberg, and he was one of my best friends last summer in Duluth, Minnesota, where I called games in the Northwoods League, and Ethan is a very large, hard-throwing right-hander. He can hit speeds of 95, 96 on the fastball, and he has an absolutely devastating breaking ball as well. It's more of the 12-6 variety type of curveball. He was the closer out in Duluth, and he plays a similar role here for Ohio State. And it's just a big, big arm, a 3.38 ERA, 2-3 record. He's appeared in 16 games, and he has 3 saves on the year. And believe me, I think Michigan may have just tied the game out in left center, Adam, with the homer.
That's what it sounds like. Got the crowd up big. I'll take a look. Actually, you know what? Right now, as we got this new pitcher warming up for the softball game. Pretty interesting that they scheduled both baseball and softball in Ann Arbor at the same time against Ohio State. Do you think they shared a bus or something? Or at least with some of the equipment and personnel. You are correct. It is now tied after Taylor Bump homered to left field. 1-1 in the bottom of the 4th, no outs. Wolverines looking to beat their rival in softball as the baseball team looks to replicate that.
Matt Fry to lead things off for Michigan. Cleanup batter, 5 and 6 for the Wolverines. Fry 0 for 3 today will face off against Hammerberg. First pitch is fouled back to the screen for strike number 1. Hammerberg from the windup delivers home, and that hits Matt Fry, and that'll be a hit by pitch to begin the inning for Michigan. And I mean, just must have nicked off the forearm or the elbow guard, but here comes Greg Beals to argue with David Ewell about the call.
And that was 76 miles per hour, too, and it just barely nicked him. So he'd happily take that base, and they're giving it to him.
Well, what was a 2-run game is now a 3-run game, but Jimmy Obertop, he's homered in this game, and Tito Flores, who is the team's leader in home runs, is on deck. But it is not easy to do against Ethan Hammerberg. First pitch to Obertop, called strike outside corner. Jimmy struck out looking against Jake Johnson in the 6th inning. Here is the 0-1 to Obertop with Matt Fry over at first. Lined into center field, but Kern takes a couple of strides over to his left, makes the grab. That's good contact, though, by Jimmy Obertop. Out number 1. Here's Tito Flores. with 1 out in the Michigan 8th inning. A game that's really gone by pretty fast, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's been moving until the last couple of innings. The first 6 went by fast, and the 7th and the 8th probably took almost half as long as the others combined.
Flores lines one into center field. Kern is over, and it drops right in front of him, and the tying run is now at the plate.
Kern could have caught that in the air. He made a bad route, and he regretted it.
So Tito now has base hits in back-to-back at-bats. And here is Riley Bertram. So Bertram, who has struggled at the plate with contact, walked for the first time throughout this Michigan lineup in the last inning. The 7th came around to score on the 2-run double from Jack Vandermortel, who's on deck. Only 2 home runs between the next 2 combined batters, 3 combined between the next 3 for Michigan. First pitch to Bertram misses above the strike zone with the frisbee of a slider from Hammerberg. Thrown 24 1/3 innings, 19 hits, 9 earned runs, 6 walks, 35 strikeouts. Brookman calls time, the Ohio State catcher. And Bertram will settle back in for the 1-0. Big leadoff second base for Matt Fry. Hammerberg delivers home, big swing and a miss. And there's that breaking ball I mentioned from Hammerberg. Count now at 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. Bertram settles in for the pitch from Hammerberg, who comes set right at the chin. Bends the right knee, but left stays completely straight. Fastball swung through for a strike. 1-2 to Riley Bertram. 0 for 2 with a walk. Bertram stares in towards the pitcher Hammerberg. Hammerberg does the same to Bertram. He's been guessing in this AB so far. Line drive foul. One ball and 2 strikes again to Riley Bertram. .263 batting average, 1 home run. Couple of extra base hits. Got 8 doubles on the season for Michigan, now in their 36th game of the year. The 1-2 from Hammerberg. Fouled away down the left field line, back towards Yost Ice Arena. And we have a special visitor at Ray Fisher Stadium down below. The son of Jim Harbaugh, Jack Harbaugh, in attendance.
Does that mean his father's also here too?
I'm sure he's looming around somewhere. Here is the 1-2 from Hammerberg. Line drive, foul. Schembechler Hall being down the left field line and over to the left makes it an easy route if the young Jack Harbaugh has got any friends in attendance. Good at bat from Riley Bertram to foul away a couple from Hammerberg. Here's the 1-2. Checked his swing. Did he go? No, says third base umpire David Wiley. More life for Riley Bertram.
Really making the most of this at bat. 1 out here, tying run at the plate. Got the go ahead in the batter's box, or go ahead in the on deck circle.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Riley Bertram looks at ball number 3 just inside. And I mean, if that's not a karma-like pitch from the last inning where Renard missed just outside with the pitch.
It was pretty much the same spot, too.
Just against a righty in that at-bat. Bertram, the lefty, took one inside. 3-2, 1 out. Bottom of the 8th inning, 8-5, Ohio State. Line drive right side, and that will get foul. It looked like it was going to get down, but just a foot over to the right.
That would have brought in a run, too, from Fry. He was moving on that.
1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. What a swing put on that ball by Riley Bertram. And just a big sigh on the walk home for Riley. Shakes his head, kicks the dirt off the cleats, and settles in for the full count pitch again from Hammerberg.
The proverbial dirt. here on the turf diamond.
Right, right. The 3-2.
Oh,
it hit him.
So I guess that was all for nothing. He'll take first base anyway.
Bertram has some words for Hammerberg on the hill. And here comes Jack Vandermortel with the bases loaded in the go-ahead run at home plate.
Vandermortel already has a home run today and a double. Guess a single or a triple could keep his cycle hopes alive. It would take a lot, though, to get another at-bat this game.
Hammerberg, the junior from Columbus, will be paid a mound visit from Archer Brookman. The Wolverines have loaded the bases here in the 8th inning for the .270 batting averaged Jack Vandermortel, who has 12 RBIs. He has 3 here today. And imagine if he could tab on 4 more with one swing of the bat. He settles in as Hammerberg holds that glove on his hip. Stares in towards Vandermortel. Gets a sign from Brookman. Comes set at the chin. Bends that right knee, keeps the left straight. The pitch to Vandermortel. Frisbee slider in there for a strike. And
that would have been
a beautiful pitch.
Yeah. Had great movement, but if he would have swung and connected, that would have gone far.
Three RBI, scored a run on the day. Bases are juiced full of Wolverines with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Fouled back to the screen. Velasquez is on deck for Michigan. A couple of big swings in his career. Vandermortel behind 0-2, but is 2 of 3 today. He has struck out once, but a homer and a double. Plated both of the Wolverine runs in the 7th inning. 8-5 Ohio State. Tying run over at first. The pitch from Hammerberg just misses low.
That was real lucky. I could have seen that getting called.
Michigan still has no action in the bullpen, so you'd figure if the Wolverines were to potentially take the lead here in the 8th inning, that maybe Noah Renard would still be the go-to. The 1-2 from Ethan Hammerberg popped up, and it looks like that will get out of play, and safely it does.
Not safely for that car owner, but safely for the Wolverines.
We'll stick around at 1-2 to Jack Vandermortel. Could be one of the biggest swings of the career of Jack. Hammerberg, 6'5", 250 pounds, Upper Arlington, Ohio. The 1-2, fouled it away. Just got a piece of it off the end of the bat.
These past few innings, it seems like both teams have been really milking up the pitch counts, in contrast to the effectiveness of both pitchers early in this one.
17th appearance for Ethan Hammerberg. He has a strikeout in every single one of those appearances. Here's the 1-2 to Jack Vandermortel. That one missed outside. Fastball in the opposite batter's box. 2-2 to Vandermortel. Only allowed 4 home runs on the season. 2 of those came against Cincinnati on the 2nd day of March. Michigan plays 2 more against Ohio State this weekend. Tomorrow at 2 and Sunday at, I believe, 1 o'clock. The 2-2, fouled away again. That's the sort of angle we need to get that ball in the booth.
It would have to be a little bit lower, but it would be right about that place.
I don't know, would you be ready in case it came up here?
It depends if I'm looking at my computer looking live. I don't think I have good enough hands anyway. I was always so bad in high school. Like when a fly ball would come to me, it would be like a 50-50 shot, even with my glove, of if I'd be able to barehand it or not.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the 8th. Bases are loaded full of Wolverines. The pitch swung on and missed.
That's a huge out for the Buckeyes. Michigan doesn't get any runs this inning. It'll be a repeat of last, leaving just runners on base.
And how dramatic is this? Joey Velasquez will come to the plate for Michigan. One time committed to Ohio State from right in the heart of Columbus, Ohio. Has put a couple of nice swings on balls this season. He has a homer, has a single today. Ball inside. And that hit Joey Velasquez. And that will bring a run home.
RBI's an RBI.
And that was a delayed hit by pitch. And now here comes all of the umpires. So I'm going to wait to sketch this down in my scorebook. Archer Brookman had an argument with David Ewell behind the plate. And the umpires today, David Ewell, David Buck, Jim Shaley, and David Wiley, will speak about this, but what can they really say?
If it's a home plate guy who saw it, unless all three, I don't know. They're giving him first. There he is.
That's an RBI for Joey Velasquez. For Joey, RBI number 4 on the year, and well, here's Clark Elliott. 3 hit by pitch in this inning for Ethan Hammerberg. He's only hit 3 by the pitch all year. He's doubled that here today.
Can't come at a worse time, too.
8-6, 2 outs in the 8th for perhaps Michigan's best bat, Clark Elliott. Called strike 1. Fastball slowed down just a tad from Hammerberg at 91. Just a tad, though. Clark from the left-handed batter's box. Stares at the bat, settles in, drags the bat across the plate, now waves it towards Hammerberg, ready for the 0-1. Slider misses outside in the other batter's box. Joe Stewart is on deck. Bases still loaded full of Wolverines. Ohio State 8 runs on 13 hits. Michigan 6 runs on 8 hits. And Clark Elliott can change the landscape of this game with one swing of the bat. The 1-1. Missed high.
Tension rises with each and every pitch.
Elliott had a similar opportunity in the 7th and struck out. Once again, stares at the bat, settles in, waves the bat towards Hammerberg, and is ready for the 2-1. Ball misses just low. 3 balls and 1 strike. Ohio State does not have an arm getting loose in the bullpen. This Ann Arbor crowd is a bit into it here for the 3-1 pitch.
I think
Ethan Hammerberg.
They're riding with Hammerberg, win or lose here.
3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs in the 8th. The pitch fouled away. That'll smack Yost Ice Arena. The count's now full. Michigan slowly getting an arm loose in the bullpen.
Pitcher or base runners most likely running on the pitch.
Now,
Bases loaded.
But hit anywhere in the outfield will score 2. That would tie the game. Full count upcoming. The pitch from Hammerberg. Ground ball right side, right into the glove of the second baseman. Reckart throws the first, retired the side. Clark Elliott frustrated down at first base and will head to the 9th frame with Michigan trailing at 8-6 against Ohio State, and another chance blown for the Wolverines.
How many runners left on base has that been?
7.
In a 2-run game like this, that's brutal.
Michigan 1 hit, 1 run, but they leave 3 on base. They've left 5 on base in the last 2 innings. As Clark Elliott, who started 2 for 2, is now 2 of 5 on the day after a pop-out, strikeout, and a ground-out. Noah Renard will be back to the hill for the Wolverines, but if Renard can keep them scoreless here, you'd figure that Michigan still has a chance in this game because you've got the powerful part of the lineup coming up. Of course, you'll be without Elliott now, but it'll be Stewart, Burton, and Fry, and then Jimmy Obertop and Flores to follow. So you've got a good group of guys coming to the plate in the 9th inning, but first you've got to keep them scoreless here in the 8th.
Yeah, 2 straight innings with runs given up. We had 1 in the 7th and then another 1 in the 8th. Keep them at 8 runs to not give yourself more work to have to achieve in the bottom of the 9th. And just as you say that, Ohio State gets some movement in their pen too. So I don't know if they'll stick with Hammerberg, if they'll make a change.
Bernard's got the meaty part of the order coming up. Lipsy, Kern, and Bauer. Lipsy 0 for 3, but does have a walk.
For Renard, this is a win-win. He's not on the hook for the loss, but he has a chance at a win if Michigan's able to come back. Low stakes for his record.
First pitch from Renard misses above the zone. Taking Obertop out of his crouch. The 1-0 to Lipsy. Lifted into right. Playable for Elliott. Medium depth, now backs up a couple of feet, and he makes a leisurely grab for out number 1.
Huge start to the inning for Renard.
Bring up Cade Kern. Mentioned a couple of times now, he was the first Buckeye to cross the plate, a solo shot in the 2nd inning. Got the scoring started here in Ann Arbor. Renard delivers strike number 1, a breaking ball that just catches the outer part of the plate. 0-1. Renard quickly back to work. Ground ball left side. This is Bertram. Plays it on a scoop. Throws the first. Nice play. Well done by Riley Bertram. 2 gone quickly here in the Ohio State 9th.
Michigan's defense is doing what it's needed to alleviate some of the pressure off the offense here. Just 2 runs to tie, 3 to take the lead in the bottom of the 9th, assuming Bauer is unable to make anything happen.
First pitch to Colton Bauer. Skips into Obertop and will get away from the Wolverine catcher. Two outs in the 9th. Renard delivers home. Line drive left side. That's by Matt Fry. And into left field. First hit of the day for Bauer. And his first hit in 2.5 weeks since returning from injury. That'll bring up Blaine Robinson. Pinch hit in the 8th and grounded out to the first baseman. Blaine was a teammate of Hammerberg in Duluth. Tell you, 2 good guys, albeit going to Ohio State, I'll tell you. Both Blaine and Ethan. Robinson lifts one to right, a high fly ball heading towards right center. Elliott, will be called off, by Joe Stewart. Elliott, he had lost his hat, and it went kind of flying, and Joe Stewart had to make the catch. But nonetheless, there's 3 outs in the Ohio State 9th inning, and we will head to the bottom of the 9th. Michigan perhaps a chance to win it, but they got to come back from down 2, as it will be Ethan Hammerberg back out to the mound.
Yeah, Michigan leaving a lot of runners on base, but have to get at least 2 in to play in extras and 3 to finish it now and walk on off. Regardless, they're going to give a show to the folks watching at home from BTN. Surprisingly, the weather has cooperated.
Right.
It hasn't even, it drizzled early in the game in the 2nd and 3rd, but it's been completely dry the past few innings. It's still cold out, unlike later this weekend.
In the 8th inning for Michigan, 3 hit by pitch and 1 single resulted in 1 run scored and an RBI tapped to the name of Joey Velasquez. But Joe Stewart, Ted Burton, and Matt Fry will be the 3 Wolverines at the plate. And Stewart, his 9-game hit streak is on the line in this at-bat. So if Michigan were to perhaps have a chance at coming back, Joe Stewart's going to have to get them started. And here comes Joe.
Joe has his hit streak on the line. 0 for 4 today. He had the ground out, then the fielder's choice where he eventually scored, but doesn't count as a hit, and then a strikeout and a fly out.
He looks at ball number 1, high and outside. Hammerberg reaching back for a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. There is the 1-0 to Joe Stewart from the windup. Hammerberg called strike number 1. 1-1. Hammerberg snags the ball back from the catcher, Archer Brookman. Michigan down to their final 8 strikes. Breaking ball, backdoor, and it's a long throw for Ernst, who is got him in time. Oh, man, that was a close play over at first base. Joe Stewart, lots of speed.
Bang, bang play, and unfortunately for the Wolverines, Ohio State's bang was a split second ahead of Michigan's.
First base umpire David Buck making that call. Trotting up to the plate now is Ted Burton. He is 1 for 4 with a double. He looks at ball number 1. Fastball misses again for Hammerberg. Whenever he reaches back for the 93 plus, he's missed. Matt Fry would be next, and then Jimmy Obertop. Here's the 1-0. Ball number 2 inside. One out in the Michigan 9th. Wolverines head the Buckeyes scoreless in the top half. And there's strike number 1. Nice pitch outside corner. Slowed it down just a tad, and it grabbed the corner for strike number 1, 2-1.
Is Hammerberg, is he eligible for the save? Since he came in, it was within 3, right?
There's ball number 3 to Ted Burton. Yes, he would be eligible for the save. He would be tabbed with it if Ohio State does indeed close this game out. Buckeyes at 12-21, looking for their 13th win and 3rd win in Big Ten play. The 3-1. Caught the strike zone. Ted Burton dropped the bat and will have to step back into the plate.
You love when you see that. He was already planning on trotting down to first when he got rung up for that second strike.
A tough day for David Ewell.
Yeah.
Full count pitch with 1 out in the 9th. Swung on and missed. Now 2 outs in the Michigan 9th, and Ohio State 1 out from taking game 1 of the series.
Third baseman number 24, Matt Fry.
Fry shaking off that hit by pitch last inning, eventually rounded home.
Say shaking off.
Yeah.
Barely nicked his elbow with that pad on it. First pitch to Matt Fry. Breaking ball misses outside. That's just a tough end of that at bat for Ted Burton. He was up 3-1 in the count. Here's the 1-0 to Fry. There is strike number 1. One ball, 1 strike. 8 runs on 14 hits for Ohio State, 6 on 9 hits for Wolverines. Swung on and missed. A big swing from Matt Fry above the strike zone on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And the Wolverines are down to their final strike from Ray Fisher Stadium. Hammerberg into his windup for the 1-2. Missed low.
You're never going to see an ump call a strike 3 in the bottom of the 9th on that pitch, even if he's been calling it all game.
Fry is 0 for 3. Hammerberg, the 2-2. Fouled away. Just got a piece of it was Matt Fry. It was above the strike zone. Just stayed alive on it. Jimmy Obertop would be on deck. He'd be next up for Michigan. Here is the 2-2 from Hammerberg to Matt Fry. Missed outside. Full count now with the payoff coming.
The most tension imaginable. Full count, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Down by 2 against arch rival Ohio State Buckeyes.
The 3-2. Missed high, ball 4, and Jimmy Obertop will get his chance.
Tying run, steps up to the plate.
Tito Flores is on deck, the team's leader in homers, but Obertop, he has a homer today in his first at-bat, 0 for 3 cents. But the junior from St. Louis, I'm sure all he was asking for was an opportunity. .291 average, faces off against Hammerberg for the second time. Lined out to the center fielder in the first chance. Obertop lifts one to left. Back is the left fielder, Lipsy. That ball's gone! Tie game in the ninth. Jimmy Obertop delivers, and this game is knotted up 8-8.
Second blast of the day for Obertop. Had one in the second inning and now one in the ninth. Tying this one up, so Michigan lives to fight at least one more inning. Potentially could finish it now with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth.
That'll bring up Tito Flores, the team's leader in homers. How about that? Just a fly ball that carried over the large brick wall in left field, and Jimmy Obertop ties the ball game on home run number 6. He's got 5 and 6 both today. The first pitch to Tito Flores. Called strike 1. Hammerberg reverts back to the stretch. A walk to Matt Fry and a 3-2 count, and then Jimmy Obertop homers to tie the game in the bottom of the ninth inning. The 0-1. Bouncing ball foul.
Michigan was down to their final strike and eventually rebounded from that to get the walk, and then Obertop wasted no time to send that one over the deep fence and left.
0-2 to Tito Flores. The pitch popped up right side. Perhaps trouble. First baseman DeZenzo back. Right fielder coming on. He makes the grab, almost tripping over himself. But Oakley makes the grab. We're going to head to the 10th inning. We are tied at 8. Thanks to Jimmy Obertop's 2-run home run to tie Ohio State at 8 in the bottom of the 9th inning. How about that?
We get some extra baseball, which is always good in my book. So we head to the top of the 10. Interested to see who Michigan sends out to the mound.
Bernard is out there.
This would be his 4th inning. Has 2 earned runs on the outing.
Michigan outscores Ohio State 5-2 in the final third of this game.
Guess it's fitting that Ohio State in the first third outscored Michigan 5-2 as well.
We've got an 8-8 ball game between Michigan and Ohio State because of the catcher who is right now trotting onto the field, Jimmy Obertop. The junior from St. Louis hangs a 2 on the board in a clutch moment. Ice in the veins of number 8. Ties up this ball game. And now the Wolverines are going to have to hold Ohio State scoreless. And you mentioned earlier for Hammerberg that the record was unscathed at the moment, but now there's still no decision in his name as they have a new arm getting loose. So you'd assume we'd see a new arm for Ohio State in the 10th?
Yeah, most likely, especially stuff to come back after surrendering a tying 2-run blast with 2 outs, and you're a pitch away from finishing up the game.
Bernard will face off against 7, 8, and 9, and the Wolverines will fully shift over to the left. 3 stacked over to the left, and Vanner Mortal left alone on the right side.
You say 7, 8, and 9 as if that's the slow part of the lineup, but they combined have 6 hits in the game today.
Ball 1 from Bernard. And Rickard is 2 of his last 2. Began 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts looking. The 1-0. Called strike outside half of the plate. Rickard disagrees. One ball and 1 strike to Rickard. The pitch from Bernard is a bit low. Two and 1. Bernard from the windup will deliver to Reckart. Called strike 2. Reckart disagrees again as that ball off the plate just snags it.
The home plate umpire, he loves calling this outside zone.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed. And that's out number 1 of the 10th inning, courtesy of a Noah Renard strikeout. That's his 3rd on the day and strikeout number 8 for Michigan pitching.
Right fielder number 24, Mitchell Oakley.
Here is Mitchell Oakley now. He's 2 of 3, and as he settles in, Renard already into his motion, popped up middle of the infield. Bertram calling off everybody, and everybody meaning there's no one close to him. 2 gone in the Ohio State 10th inning.
This is just what Renard needs to get the win, potentially, or at least prevent himself from getting the loss at this moment. You got to think if Michigan goes into the 11th, they don't stick with him, but take this one inning at a time.
First pitch to Oakley, a fastball just above the zone that misses. Here is the 1-0. Fouled into the glove. Michigan will get a bottom of the 10th, and they'll have their own 7, 8, and 9 coming to the plate. The 1-1. Ground ball left side. Should be playable for Bertram. Gathers it into his stomach, throws over to first. There's 3 outs in the 10th inning. And Michigan, they're going to have a chance to win it here in the 10th inning. It's an 8-8 ball game.
Michigan, heat of their order coming up. They got Bertram, Remordal, Velazquez in the top. Bertram's been quiet so far today, 0 for 2, but with a walk and a hit by pitch.
Ohio State is trotting out a new arm here in the 10th inning. We have yet to see who it'll be, but it's a righty. And we do have the new name, Nate Carafa, 8.35 ERA, 1-0 record over 18 1/3 innings pitched, 26 hits, 17 earned runs, 10 walks, and 23 strikeouts. And the right-handed sidewinder will face off against 7, 8, and 9 for the Wolverines with a chance to win it over their arch rival here in Ann Arbor, and a comeback win perhaps for Michigan. They once trailed in this game 7-3. 3 innings later, it's an 8-8 ball game. Michigan kept Ohio State scoreless in the 9th and the 10th. Jimmy Obertop ties the game on a 2-run blast with 2 outs in the 9th. Now, Bertram, Van Remordal, and Velazquez could win a game with just one simple swing of the bat.
Exactly. Easier said than done.
Right.
But the way Michigan's offense has looked the past couple of innings, it's been worth it. They had 2 in the 7th, including 2 runners stranded. They had 1 in the 8th, including bases loaded stranded, and then 2 more in the 9th to tie it up.
All the momentum in the favor of Michigan. Here comes Riley Bertram. 0 for 2, but walked and then was hit by the pitch in back-to-back 7th and 8th innings. Michigan got a ground out from Stewart, a strikeout from Burton, a walk and a 3-2 count to Matt Fry. His first pitch to Bertram misses outside, and then the home run from Jimmy Obertop. 1-0. Carafa lifts his leg, delivers home, foul ball left side. 1-1. Just one errant pitch from Ethan Hammerberg, and this game is completely changed. He left one hanging to Jimmy Obertop, and Jimmy did exactly what he's been taught since, I'm sure, grade school. Took it out to left. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Beautiful pitch from Carafa. And I'll tell you what, a breaking ball from a sidearm pitcher is one of the hardest pitches to hit in all of baseball.
It's just so tough to read.
Here's the 1-2. Line drive, center field, that's down. Bertram with a fist pump on his way down to first base, and Michigan gets their leadoff man on here in the 10th inning. Here's Jack Vandermortel. He struck out in the 8th inning. But if anything stays consistent for Jack Vandermortel, he homered in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 5th, doubled in the 7th, and then struck out swinging again in the 8th inning.
So I think you're saying he's due for a hit right now. It's been hit, strikeout, hit, strikeout.
Michigan will take a coach's timeout by the Wolverine Block M logo. On the third baseline is Riley Bertram. We'll head over to talk to Eric Bakich. Vandermortel, he puts one in the gap. Ohio State's defenders right now playing all the way back towards the track. Vandermortel does have power, but only one homer on the year, and it came today. Now you've got to think, maybe they're talking about perhaps bunt here.
A bunt? Yeah. That you need to manufacture just one. It's not like you need the extra, but that wouldn't be terrible with the Vandermortel.
Vandermortel goes up there taking big hacks in his warm-up, fixes his glove, stares at the bat, asks for time from David Ewell behind the plate. Ewell stares down and he immediately squares bunt. They'll check over to first and Bertram back in standing up.
So there's no deception here, unless of course there is deception. But he is showing bunt straight from the step.
Yeah, he's going to bunt this ball. The pitch from Carafa. Vandermortel let it go, called strike outside corner.
If you square up, you got to try and do it. You never want to pull back. They almost always call that a strike, too, if you square up.
Bakich looking at his play card, calls out to his team.
Looks like another bunt.
Bertram back in safely at first base. Carafa taking care of him, although only about half a stride off first base. No balls, one strike. Vandermortel immediately squares for bunt again. He lays it down, and heading to second base is Bertram, and they fumble the ball, and safe at first base is Vandermortel. So the bunt works out to perfection, and a big swing of the fist from Eric Bakich in the dugout for the Wolverines.
That's going to be the second error of the day. Very common for Ohio State this season. 65 errors already. As Velazquez comes up with the tying run, or go-ahead run on second. And another coach's timeout.
And how many times have I reiterated the situation for Joey Velazquez? For Michigan, once committed to Ohio State, right outside Columbus is where he lives, right in downtown. Family is sitting here right down in front of us.
I saw a kid with a Velazquez jersey, and I'm like, oh, this must be his family. I don't think many just general fans. You never know, though. He is unique being a two-way player between baseball and football. I'm sure both coaches aren't too happy about that, but maybe that's why Harbaugh's in attendance.
At least Jack.
Yeah, one of the Harbaughs to see his football teammate. Trying to look if Jim.
I'm almost positive that there's practice today, which would make it hard for old Jim to make it out here.
Just look for those iconic khakis.
Well, you know, he went away from those for a while this year. He went to the blue pants.
He did, and it worked out for him, so maybe that's the good luck charm. Looking forward to covering some football next season with Zach.
Michigan's going to go to a pinch hitter. Jake Marty will step in for the Wolverines. And I've got a feeling as to why this is. Jake Marty is probably the best bunter on the team. Lots and lots of speed from Marty. He'll be put in there to pinch run a lot of the time when the Wolverines have a clutch runner on base. Bertram's got plenty of speed, so they're going to leave him in. I would figure bunt here from Marty, and he was going to square, but checking over to second base is Carafa.
Oh, and that would be huge if you get it down the third base line, because it gets the third baseman who goes playing for it, and it leaves the bag open, potentially, unless the pitcher's able to get there in time, which is unlikely.
The left-handed Wolverine, Marty, will square. Gets the bunt down the third base line, just foul.
That would have been perfect if it were an inch or two to the right. It had enough distance and everything.
I would expect the same from Marty.
Marty has almost no stats. Is this his first at-bat of the season?
Oh, he's one of 13. Just sometimes takes a while to register the stats on the board. That's typically what we'll use to help us out. Joey Velasquez takes a seat for perhaps good reason, standing in the dugout with helmet and gloves on for Jake Marty, who needs to get this bunt down in fair territory. Squares to bunt, and it's foul again.
Do you think he goes for it on strike 3?
I don't see why you would.
You sometimes see that for like people who were put in to bunt, even on the third strike, they go for it.
They really wanted to get a bunt down so that Clark Elliott could get a shot at the plate in his 6th at-bat. He's 2 of 5 today. Singled in both of his first 2 at-bats. And now Marty may have to swing away on 0-2. Decent lead at second base for Bertram. Vandermortel over at first. The pitch from Carafa. He does square to bunt, takes a ball inside, and they ask down to third base umpire David Wiley, and man, how about the risk from Jake Marty?
I told you, a lot of these guys who pinch hit to bunt, they come up to the plate intending to bunt, and they're going to bunt, even if it means a strike 3 on a foul ball.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Does Marty square to bunt here again? Waving that bat slowly, he will square, and he'll get the bunt down. Getting the third base is Bertram, and he's safe over at first base.
What was he doing?
And you know, perhaps, Adam, that's not the worst thing in the world for Ohio State, because now there's a force out at any base.
That may have been a high IQ play, actually. I rescind my question right there. No outs, bases loaded. Basically, anything in play is a win.
Well, the Michigan contingency is on their feet now. Of course, why wouldn't they be? Bases loaded, no outs in the bottom of the 10th. After Overtop ties it on a 2-run home run in the 9th inning, infield fully in for Ohio State.
Yeah.
And anything to the outfield should win this game.
That's
for the
actually
Wolverines.
very high IQ. I rescind my confusion from that play by Reckard.
The Michigan dugout really wanted a balk on Carafa.
You don't want to win on a balk. Win on a hit.
You want to win anyway.
You want to win, but win on a hit.
Carafa into his windup, delivers foul ball off the bat of Clark Elliott.
You don't need a home run, Elliott. Just try to put it in play. Anything that lands is going to be a win. He was swinging for the fences on that.
The outfield of Lipsy, Kern, and Oakley playing very shallow. Not even 100 feet from the edge of the dirt. Here's the 0-1. Strike 2. Backdoor breaking ball that just slithered through the strike zone for an Ohio State strike. Elliott behind 0-2. On third base, Bertram. On second, Vandermortel. Marty over at first. The 0-2 pitch. Ball 1. Nice stop behind the plate, though, by Archer Brookman. We saw Michigan walk off Cal State Fullerton 2 Sundays ago with a wild pitch from Michael Weisberg. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Clark Elliott, Michigan's leadoff man, number 1 overall potential draft prospect in the Big Ten. The 1-2 line drive past the second baseman, and Michigan walks it off here on Friday afternoon. They will mob Clark Elliott over at first base, and Michigan wins 9-8 over Ohio State, and there's the Gatorade shower.
Took an extra frame, but Michigan got it done. Not even getting a single out here, and that's got to be devastating for the Buckeyes.
Who else but Clark Elliott to come through, and Michigan defeats Ohio State by a score of 9-8. Ohio State led with 14 hits compared to the 12 for Michigan. 2 errors on Ohio State proving costly, and Michigan will defeat the Ohio State Buckeyes 9-8. And I don't even know who I'd say game MVP is. Got to give it probably to Jimmy Obertop and or Clark Elliott.
Obertop, I would give it to him both because they wouldn't be playing in the 10th without him.
Exactly.
And he got 2 home runs, so that wasn't the only blast he had today. He had that one in the second that really opened things up for Michigan. But that's a huge dub, especially as they go on and look to sweep the series and continue their push to win the Big Ten title.
Michigan will now improve to 21-15 on the season and 7-3 in Big Ten play. The winning pitcher today for Michigan is Noah Renard. The losing pitcher for Ohio State, Nate Carafa. And Michigan, that's a big-time win as they head into the final 2 games of this weekend. From Zach Linfield, Adam Bressler over to my left, everyone have a great afternoon. Try and avoid the rain and come out to a sunny Ray Fisher Stadium ball game either tomorrow or on Sunday. Signing off from Ann Arbor, Zach Linfield, Adam Bressler. Thanks for being here, everybody.